lose.
Absolutely. That Viper offlane is a little risky. Are you confident enough in the combo to be able to handle it, though?
I mean, I'm confident. Don't know about my players, but nah, I'm kidding. But I can't say we like played this too much. Obviously, like if you look at WS's like history, he's like pretty much never played Viper, but they're like good players, so I believe in them.
I mean, Viper's not that hard, right?
And we just like so literally one button,
Yeah.
like, two buttons.
Piece of cake, piece of cake. All right, last question for you. A lot of negative armor coming out from the enemy team this time. Did you talk to them at all about that? Were you surprised by the Slardar? What was the talk about for that last pick mid?
We talked about it, but not surprised. Also, don't think it's strong. We have Viper, which is like, I mean, Viper against Slardar is kind of 50-50, but like SD, we have Purge, and then we have Shield from ABBA, so overall fine pick to play against. Yeah.
This man's not surprised by anything. Not at all. All right, let's get into the game and see if this game has a surprising end.
We'll see if the surprise is there. We might just see a quick first blood coming in as we get Watson with the first blood on Mira. He's definitely right about this WS and how many Viper games he's played. According to DOTA Buff, he's only played 5 games of Viper professionally. And the last time he played Viper, he was playing for a team called Rectify. It was in 2022.
Yeah, he's getting rectified right now because he is getting tri-lane. He can't really do much, and Saxa is still going to be sticking around. This has always been a thing whenever you're playing against the offlane Viper. Like, you kill him once, you kill him twice. His game is kind of cooked. And you also have Brewmaster in the offlane who's playing against 0 stuns. They can use Disruption, maybe, but he's going to be A-okay, especially if he gets the level 2 with the Drunken Brawler. Then he gets the evasion. Then he gets that extra move speed. And this Avalanche is going to stop all 3 of them.
Saxa taking some heavy hits from WS, getting run all the way towards the tower. Ignoring Watson might get Saxa down low enough. And there's the pop.
And he's going to be fine with the boots of speed.
Oh,
oh the blood
grenade?
grenade missed.
Oh! Mira missing that blood grenade, unfortunately. And now there's a little bit of a situation as WS is going to be the one who gets run down. Watson losing that Falcon Blade, but they get this kill, and Maladich is going to get credit for it on WS. So the thing that was most scary is starting to happen, and now this blood grenade lands. Saxa chasing, has the shackles, needs some help, has Maladich here, and that will bind Mira. So they want the Tiny, and they do get the Tiny. This lane is not looking that great, and it is a tri-lane that has shown itself to be quite effective, and we've talked about Tree and Protector lanes in the past seemingly unlosable. However, with that
they brought in another hero. Like,
no,
you're not going to be losing this lane. They did a little bit of deforestation. WS using the Quelling Blade and removing a bunch of trees, and now these trees are back. So you're going to need to find another angle. And this game, like this time around, it's very difficult for him to recover. He has 1-0-1 build, not getting too much out of it. And also, you saw the right clicks. It's a lot of right click damage. You have Treant Protector, like the highest damage in the game, 96. And even Shadow Shaman, he hits like a truck. He has 70 damage in level 2, but as like compared to Treant Protector, it's really not that high. And they're still sticking to this tri-lane. Kaori also lurking in the shadows, potentially using this Shadow Demon. They also have very limited amount of damage and only 1 stun.
Shackle, thinking about binding somebody. Maladich goes in. Now they've got the Hex for a second onto Kaori. Avalanche lands on a 3, but Maladich sticking with Kaori, forced to use that disruption onto the Tree and Protector in the chase back the other way to put damage on a WS, where Watson now with the shackles uses the side blades. It hits WS as well as Mira, but they just don't have everything it takes to get these kills.
Man, I'm so glad these tri-lanes are back. It's been like
Try.
Yeah,
you like it?
Yeah, it's been like a good 10 years or something.
Toss under the tower. Watson gets the refraction back up. Blood grenades are flying everywhere. I don't know if I've seen this many blood grenades. It's an all-out war in the top lane. They're throwing them back and forth.
The more value you're getting from blood grenades. And they're still not done. Maladich, he's backstabbing, resetting. A couple of seconds. Both abilities are going to be available.
Kaori bound. And you've got the Leech Seed. Now the Shackles onto the Tiny, and you talked about the right-click damage. It's there. And Maladich, he gets
another blood
that.
grenade.
They're still healing up. Another blood grenade thrown over. Maladich is going to walk away, and he will be fine. So it's 4-0 for Yandex. I just want to say, by the way, for everybody who doesn't have an inside camera view of what we look like at the moment, I've never seen you that excited. We've worked together for a very long time, You clapped, you gave like this big like, oh, hell yeah, here we are. I rarely see that.
For a good reason. I remember back when the tri-lanes were invented, I think it was one of the WCGs, WESGs back in the days, whatever called. I think it was like eHome who kind of invented it with Sven, Lina, plus one more hero in the lane, just like stacking stuns. Might have been Leshrac. This is like back in Dota 1 days we're talking about, and it was like so controversial at the time, and then everybody else started to do it as well. But still keeping to this tri-lane, still 0 kills on the board for Aurora.
So is that with Sylar back in the day?
No, this was pre-Sylar.
Oh, okay, damn. The whole history coming through. Toss into the Avalanche, and they will look to get on the board finally, and they do. Disruption, the try-v-try continues. And Saksa now, after the disruption, WS starting to hit away and get a little bit more out of the lane as he hits that last right click, gets himself a double kill. Watson still alive, but finally WS coming back. This is the most action we've had in a lane in a while.
And it's a good action.
I like it.
Yeah, this also reminds me what they are doing on Yandex, on something similar. Junior trying to put some pressure, but something similar that did happen like 2 Dream Leagues or 3 Dream Leagues ago, when the Hawk was the one playing the off lane, and he was the one getting sacked. They were also running like a little bit of a tri-lane, the roaming situation with position 4, where he was left completely alone playing some Night Stalker and making sure that he is playing from behind, but other lanes are getting all the benefits from the roaming position 4. And DM, I'd say that he is one of the best offlaners to utilize these situations where he's not getting the most, but still getting a lot of impact. This guy had the lane with 9 class. This guy wasn't even laning. Like, if you think about his TBs, his Slark's position 4, Monkey Kings, back when they were on their prime, it's just didn't feel as good to be DM in a lot of these situations. Like, you had to know how to adapt to the situation every single time in 1v2. Kaori is like, F9, let's pause this, it's bugged.
What's going on? And Maladich eventually just gives it up as the sentry comes out. But one shrine apiece. Maladich just sitting there. The Tree Protector, I was going to say, you know, we've talked about how it doesn't lose lanes, but it's only got a 33% win rate in the tournament after 12 games. So it may not lose lane, but it does lose game. Probably more so than I would have thought. And then we haven't really talked about VTune at all on this Abaddon, but we've seen him. He's willing to move on this hero. He moves mid, he moves top. He's played very well. I know the win rate doesn't exactly reflect that, but the games we've seen from him have looked really good. And it's something we've talked about with VTune in specifics is he doesn't die a lot.
Yeah, he's sitting at sub 2 deaths per game on average, which is pretty impressive. He is playing a lot of these unkillable heroes. Playing, this is like his 4th game on Abaddon, 5th game, but yeah, he played Medusa, which he ended up with 0-4 and 0, kind of ruined his KDA at the time, but he has been very impressive so far at this tournament.
He's
like, it's him and Mikoto being actually in the top 5 least deaths. Mikoto averaging 2.2 deaths per game, which is still pretty insane, and both of them are kind of in the top 5 when it comes down to KDA.
Tiny caught for a moment. Hex, Chicken Fingers, and Mira tossing him back. Has the Avalanche still alive, but the Blood Grenade again. Disruption for the save from Kaori, and Mira will end up surviving. Good save from Kaori.
Chura Jr., like, we were mostly looking at the top lane, talked for like 5 minutes what's happening in the top lane. Chura Jr. is completely dominating this lane. I also think Aurora is going to be having a massive issue not having the playmaker, because your Tiny didn't get too much out of the lane. He can't start a fight. Your Void Spirit is also getting shut down. This hero doesn't really like to play from behind. And you also have Viper as your offlaner who wants to be static. Want to see what kind of build he's going to be going for. So he did go for Power Treads, a little bit more right-click oriented build, which means you don't have Boots of Travel to TP anywhere where action is. So Aurora might need to take it slow.
Borrowed time was used, but they've got the Hex. They didn't do a lot of damage while he was borrowing the time, so he's only at half health. He's got the Aphotic Shield, but there are 3 heroes down bottom trying to get a kill into VTune. He's juking, jiving, but, well, not looking like he's surviving, as Chura Jr. will get the kill onto the Abaddon. And that tri-lane, like you were saying, it slowed down the Tiny enough where that Blink Dagger is just going to be so slow, and I don't really know what you do if you're Aurora. Kind of turtle the aggression that looking at Yandex's lineup, can be activated pretty early on, especially with the lane that Cheer Jr. had. Yeah. It's worrisome, and especially Maladich, who's having an amazing start to this game.
I'm really worried for them because they also don't have, we talked about ways of starting the fight, but they also don't have lockdown. Brewmaster, I would say, has guaranteed split in a team fight. You have Void Spirit, which is not a lot of control. Maybe, like even after the Axe, I don't think he's gonna be able to die from 100 to 0 with living armor behind him, maybe some like blink counter initiation from Slaughter. So once you get the split off, things get a lot messier for the enemy team, and I would say that Brewmaster is one of the best heroes in the game to deal with Abaddon. You proc his ulti, you cycling him into the air, which means that that borrowed time is not going to be as effective.
And we saw the borrowed time not be effective in that bottom lane initially, and it's one of the things that I think teams have done well against Vici, despite the fact that he's not dying. In the games that they've been able to punish him, they're making sure that he's not getting enough out of that borrowed time. And Brewmaster DM, we've talked about how he's had solo lanes before playing with 9 class, but here, I mean, he's kind of free, but not really as high.
They're trying to get the jump on him with amplified damage, not even close. Like, this is not a good read on a Brewmaster as a hero. This hero gets super tanky, especially if he drops down below 50% with Liquid Courage. He's gonna be a-okay. Midas online, gonna continue to farm up. Unfortunately, Midas doesn't give you levels anymore, but still very good item on the offlane Brewmaster. Just for the extra gold. And there's been like a couple of builds that Brewmasters go for, whether Orchid if you need to have a little bit more control, or Midas into Aghanim Scepter, and then you become super annoying to deal with because you just don't die. Like your Brewlings, they don't have enough damage also to kill the Brewlings, which is going to be... This is not like Sven or any like Battle Fury carry that we're talking about that can just square up and kill them straight away.
They've got these first two kind of big items for Yandex. They got the Desolator finish on the Templar Assassin, Blink Dagger for Cheer Jr., and that, if honestly they're willing to with Watson too, you can just play aggressive at this point. And like you were mentioning, the lack of saves, the lack of maybe the way of sustaining in this is going to be problematic for Aurora to survive the initial onslaught that comes in from Yandex. With the Desolator and with the Corrosive Haze, you're also looking at objectives, right? Getting Roche early, having that Aegis, pressuring the side of Aurora. What do you do? Like, what are those answers? How do you kind of deter Yandex from just following the roadmap that they have that looks so simple?
We've seen Tiny's do good. As long as you have Tiny with the Blink Dagger, you always have something. Yeah, you always have something. We saw like a good amount of comebacks coming out from Shadowfin plus Tiny combos where they toss you right on top of the Requiem that was getting channeled. This time around it's not as good, but you have two very good BKB piercing abilities, kind of anti-carry, Shadow Demon and Viper Strike. Templar Assassin and Slaughter, they really hate to play into these abilities because once you decide to go on them, they kind of can't move. So in the next couple of minutes, Yandex will try to put slightly more pressure on the map with this Teso, and then it opens up to Roche. So between 15 and 20, between like Roshan and Tormentor, if they're the ones controlling both of these objectives, and in theory they should with the advantage that they do have, it does feel like the game could break. And they're gonna go for even earlier Roche, having Shadow Shaman in the team.
So many tools to take Roche. So many tools to just kind of focus these objectives. Sometimes we see these Roches and we think it's early when they're going for them at minute 18. Go to the minute 18, into the Torm at 20, into the Shrine at 21. But this is Roche into potentially a 14-minute Shrine fight, or if you want to play that way. And it's not the fastest Roche. Obviously, this lineup gets a little bit quicker, but it's a very doable Roche with Corrosive Haze and these Serpent Wards. This is such an early Aegis to now try to take advantage with.
Watson was playing on a different side, not really contributing too much to that Roche, and it's gonna be Slaughter picking it up. I think it comes down to what I was saying about playing into bad matchups, playing into this Viper Strike, playing into Shadow Demon ulti. So he knows once he goes in that he will be heavily targeted by one of those two abilities, and then most likely he's gonna die. So having Aegis on him might be actually smart, and I think Watson is gonna play a bit of a different entry to the fight, not necessarily going in first immediately for the blow-up damage. And he has a bit of a protection as well. Having Treant Protector behind him, as we said, split, guaranteed to be used in a fight, which also allows them to have much easier just fight focus who they want to be going for.
Okay. Have that Cyclone, have that way to disable somebody who's really the worst of the worst to deal with from Aurora. definitely see Brew being a big point of contention as he's going for this Aghanim Scepter just 2 pieces away from it. At the same time, they're trying to farm these stacks and get Viper into the Hurricane Pike, maybe to disengage from the Slardar that's trying to blink on top of him. So he's got to be very careful. And it is all Watson right now. He's top of the net worth by 2,000 gold. He's very happy with what he's been able to get out of the game. And despite having this Desolator, he has not really looked to fight just yet. Yndx, of course, looking for the early shard. You want that information with the Eyes of the Forest. Try to get that vision down, allow you to have that initiation with the Slardar. Maybe make some of these smoke plays a little bit deeper on the Aurora side.
They saw it. They saw this sentry being placed. They have sentry, they have trap, so they know.
Crush, and the Nature's Grasp is on. Disruption save. This is a problem, though, for the Viper. He's just too far out. Viper Strike gets used, but it really doesn't even amount to much. Might get the kill out of the Shadow Shaman a little bit later on, but the chase out of Kaori, and they will get Watson involved. So that's going to be 2 kills here for Yandex, and they don't even lose Saksa. So he's got Serpent Wards. He'll commit him onto the Tier 1 tower, and with the Deso, they're also going to take this tower very quickly. They have a catapult to accompany them as well.
Yeah, not sure the Serpent Wards were needed. They have catapult, they have Deso. Maybe they could have saved it for the mid lane as well, because right now they do feel like they're in a full control of this game. Shiro Jr., something that we did mention is he is very good at counter-initiating as well once they get the initial jump. So again, you're going to be able to get your spells off, and a very nice ulti from Maladich, making sure that he catches 2 of them. He catches Shadow Demon, and he catches Viper once he comes out of Disruption. Radiance, that's a bit of a later Radiance timing, even though he's second on the network. Now his timings are going to increase. Now you can actually start to get a lot of farm on Abaddon.
Point Crush. They do have Avalanche. They do have Void Spirit. This is a jump in for Chiro Jr. Aether Remnant connects. He's got an Aegis, but unable to break it anyway. We've seen a couple of games like this for Aurora where it does feel as though Vici has to farm well enough to bring his team back into the game and be in capable hands where they're kind of an item behind. So I'm definitely not counting them out yet at all. And I do kind of have faith in Vici to make fights like that happen. If he's able to sustain in these fights and continue to whack away, I could see Aurora bringing this one back despite the significant net worth lead at this point in the game.
Oh, that's a lot of copium, beat copium.
Breathe it in. Avalanche comes through, and the Viper will get a kill on a Saksa.
As long as they're getting kills, it's fine, and maybe getting something out of the map, but also be aware that there's potentially, like if they find something, Shadow Shaman is still gonna respawn in 15 seconds. Yeah. Aegis expiring in slightly over the minute.
It's been a long time with this Aegis. And you can see Watson, just with so much free space on his side of the map, is continuing to just extend that lead between him and Vici. Despite the Radiance pick up Chiro Jr. with the blink in. Crush. Oh, gosh. The damage on Vici almost just completely nullifying him. He's forced to back away, and this is an Avalanche to kind of sacrifice your life, but they get the control, the disruption
crush
to try
in 2
and save
seconds.
him. Whirlwind also, it's the Hurricane that pulls WS closer to the side of Yandex. So they get this kill into Vici, and the look over at the Viper, they've got another crush. The Hurricane from the Wild Wing is what pulls the Viper closer as he's trying to retreat from the fight, and now he's unable to leave. He ends up dead.
This fight was also without Brewmaster. DM just finished off his Aghanim Scepter. We even haven't seen the full force of Team Yandex's lineup in action.
No.
So that's what worries me the most.
The Copium did feel good, but you start to see a fight like that without the Brew even being involved, and there's a lot of worry to what Aurora can get done.
Yeah, Mikoto, like he played into a very bad matchup for him. He played into Slardar, he got rotated on, lost his tower. Not involved in any of the kills. Same goes for Abaddon. He did receive one of those assists with the rotation, but other than that, it has been a pretty silent game for Aurora. Knowing that they got tri-laned, they got shut down in that lane, mid lane was won by default, and Brewmaster, he was more than fine trading the farm with Abaddon.
11-3. There's not been a lot to write home about for Aurora. The recaps have been short. But Chiro Jr. now farming bottom for free and having all this space where now he might find Vici as well as Mira. They've got that OBS on the high ground, but they don't elect to jump onto the Slardar.
Their vision game is also insane. If we think about eyes in the forest, you have traps with silence now upgraded.
They have some really
brewlings
deep wards too.
that we haven't even seen Brewmaster using ulti, so
No.
you have corrosive haze. You'll always have vision of the heroes that you want to jump, and you also have Slardar, who's extremely farmed. Shira Jr. Usually you don't see Slardar in the top 3, I would say. This hero doesn't farm that well. You need your shard, but he's having that good of a game that he is staying in top 3.
So they're gonna go. Meanwhile, Watson's gonna solo take the Torm. You mentioned this vision. I'm looking at the map. It's disgusting where they have vision. Like the ward in between the tier 2 and the tier 3 over mid. There's a ward by the tier 2 top. Like they've got Eyes of the Forest multiple in that bottom river where you're gonna look to farm if you're trying to stay a little bit more safe on the Radiant side. The vision game is pretty sick.
Yeah, are these pro players stupid? Why don't they just D-ward and make life easier? Kill all the traps, kill all the eyes in the forest. Yeah. Kill all the
guys.
It's a very because like it also requires you to be away from the team. Somebody needs to be there. The sentries are of course limited, and it makes it very difficult. They also are going to be afraid of getting the jump. You have very good catch coming out from Shaman. Both of the supports as well on Yandex, they do have greedy enchantments, so they will scale even more.
It's Shackles, Serpent Words, and a kill on Amira. It's also one of those positions where, like, Aurora, I'd love to see them pick up a gem, knowing that they're in a position like this, Eyes of the Forest as well as the traps, but they're just so far behind that committing that goal to a gem, it just seems kind of...
Yeah, you buy that gem,
you lose
on
the
a
gem.
support, you lose the gem,
yeah,
you're cooked. Like, you're... as a support,
you don't have the luxury of being able to go for a gem behind 14,000 net worth at 21 minutes into the game. Good gem game, not good gem moment in the game currently. They're trying though, and I see VTune and Makoto's kind of far behind. He is in a bit of a rough spot. They find V2. They've got the Hex, the chicken fingers, the borrowed time. Committed to leave this fight. TP's even coming through from Aurora, but the answers may not be available to them. And they fake back with this smoke. They might re-engage.
Oh, I love this play.
Out a little bit too far.
Knowing that Aurora will expect them to play the bottom part of the map because Watson is playing super aggressive, faking that he has his whole team behind him, and rest of the team, they are making a move. Let's see who they're going to be able to find.
Some 4D chess as they go up into the triangle. Can they get past Kaori? They do blink past him. There's the disruption. They will find the Shadow Demon. V2 gets out of the triangle, but they will get a kill. So it's something for the side of Yandex as they continue just sending these units over as a trio and making sure that they shut down really any semblance of a game for Aurora. It's been quite tough for them to just find an available skate route. And the Eyes of the Forest, you may think you're safe within those trees, but those trees are owned by Yandex.
Every single objective on the map getting pressured by Yandex. Shadow Shaman wards are off cooldown. Now they can group up. There's a bit of a mana issues at the moment, but if he drops the wards, they're going to be able to kill another tower, and Roshan is going to respawn in a minute and 30 seconds because they killed it very early on. They kill it on Radiant side, yep.
Obviously, the replacement for getting a gem is the shard on Void Spirit, but it's still not as effective.
Yeah, he wants the farm with that.
Yes. They'll get the catch on a Maladich. They'll try to get the kill into the Tree Protector, and they've left him all alone. So that is gold for VTune in the amount of 369.
Very nice. They managed to grab at least some gold, but the problem is they are losing so much. Because pretty much the map is very small. They have vision in every single area of the map. It's just very annoying to play into these type of heroes. And I've always been a big fan. I keep going back to China. This has been their support duo from back in the days from like a decade ago when they were playing Shadow Shaman and Treant Protector. to be able to, because they kind of complement each other in what they want to be doing. One protects the tower, the other also has a lot of tower damage. He can take objectives. The one can delay the game, the other can like even go for some split pushing action. And the Shadow Shaman, a lot of the times, I think the other one, the offlaner that they like to run, was Tidehunter. You know, support that if he gets his spells off, he kind of is winning you the team fight. Treant Protector does the same, allowing you to get the overgrowth when they jump in. Shadow Shaman will always have Bullseye on him, making sure that you want to take him out first, but not an easy task. And now they're going to smoke. We tune Radiance off.
Not easy to kill Shadow Shaman, especially with the additional layer of getting through foul play. And they haven't lost the tower yet on the Yndx. And the thing is, with your being so far behind for Aurora, I mean, normally, even if it's close, you have to commit to these towers. Otherwise, you're going to get healed up. But being so far behind, putting the commitment onto these towers feels like such a risk that you put yourself in a bad position by almost being in a stationary position for what time it'll take to take a tower. There's no fights really being started by Aurora. They want to find farm anywhere they can on the map, but the map is so small for them, and Yandex is getting so much out of what they control. PVISION, he's here for a moment to try and get this Ancient's creep camp, but this is just not working out for him. They're committed in, they've got the crush, they'll have the hex, they have the chicken fingers too, and he's forced to borrow time. Yandex, they get that out, they know that he's not going to be willing to fight without his ult anymore, and they can just move around the map and go for more elsewhere.
Saksa on the hunt. Sentry down. Missed Mira. And Roshan gonna roar. They can't really take the fight. Maybe they could try to somehow sneak in. They have really no blink daggers available yet, other than Mira, who's on the other side of the map, and he's the one getting caught.
TP from Brew, who I don't think has used the split yet, but tossed towards WS. Mira gets the kill on a Saksa, and now they do use that split. They've got the crush. They'll have the control on a WS to take out a second. Both the Tiny and the Viper die all the while. Watson's got himself an Aegis and 2 shots the Shadow Demon. I don't even know if Kaori knows what hit him.
He tipped him. Watson, you can see, no reaction whatsoever. Fully focused on this game. Big difference between two carries. 7,000 ahead in a 27-minute game. He's just farming the whole map. Shaman, we saw there, he doesn't like to play into any break mechanic. Use Viper Strike. His foul play does not proc. Daedalus now completed. That's going to be another tower. They have 2 plays right now on Aurora. They need like some massive toss back into Viper Strike or Shadow Demon ulti into tier 4 towers. The other play is shift enter, GG enter, because
that was the other one.
it's a really difficult one.
Blink in, Avalanche, and the toss back. It's going to be on to the Templar Assassin, who does have an Aegis, so if you get this first kill, you're going to have to get through him again. Overgrowth is used by Maladich. The damage with the Viper Strike and the right clicks coming out from the Viper are quite nice, and they will at least get that one kill. They did take the Aegis. They've got the Shackles on Makoto, but those are broken immediately with the Aether Remnant landing onto the Shadow Shaman. Now, Saksa in trouble. So 2 heroes dead on Yandex. They jump in on Chira Jr. for Kaori. They also take out the other support of Mira. Both supports lost on Aurora. They'll start to try and retreat. But Yandex, in losing their 2 supports, they could sit here, they could just take the tower and back away. Not an awful fight from Aurora overall, but it just doesn't seem like it nets them enough.
Yeah, it was better than I expected, getting the toss back and also removing the Aegis. So overgrowth onto 4 of them, but still he dies, getting struck by Viper Strike, taking the Aegis out of Templar Assassin. So still showing the power of this tiny tossback. Like,
yeah,
it has always been one of the best, if not the best, ability to defend the base with. If you get that off, I've seen it through the 20+ years of Dota. This hero can win games.
Calm down there, old man. my Dota. Oh, back to
I remember
20 years ago. Let me get your cane. I'll help you out of here. Jesus.
Where am I? Like what?
Yeah. The computers are great. The graphics still the same. It runs smoothly. Little fire being built for Chira Jr. He just picked up that Aghanim Scepter. Wants to try and make sure that they can rip through these heroes on the side of Aurora. And Sardar's still farming well enough. He's still ahead of the Abaddon, and you were talking about how this hero doesn't exactly farm at most, the most amazing in the game. But with the start that he had, he's just been kind of boosted into a position where Unless he really falls apart, he's staying here at the top of the network.
They allowed him to have that good of a start where you feel so comfortable to be able to get extra bit of farm. Slither and Crush, and this is pre-level 20. Once you get to level 20, you one-shot the creep wave with the shard. Extra 125 damage on level 20. Does allow you to do that. Mikoto, jump in, double step.
This is Soxa, and now DM going the other way. Avalanche is going to land onto the Shadow Shaman, but they've got the bind as well as the Crush. Disruption save from Kaori.
He's cooked.
Lands on a Maladich. He'll throw the Overgrowth, so they got the continued control. They'll get the kill on Mikoto. Don't have the kill. Shackles, Vici in trouble. Kaori's dead. The saves are gone. The Avalanche is there. The borrowed time is going to be popped, so now he'll try to run and does get out. But the chase with the Cyclone locks up WS, and they will get this kill out of the Viper after the Hex is completed.
He caught him with the Cyclone.
So another Cyclone on a Vici. He no longer has the borrowed time.
No blink for 2.
He'll get the silence with the trap and the shard addition. So Vici's dead. 4 heroes got on the side of Aurora, and Yandex just continuing to roll. Serpent Wards placed over bottom, and this is going to be a bottom center Rax to go with all the kills that they just got.
They don't have enough. Also, Void Spirit using 2 steps. In a game like this, you can't allow yourself to do that. The replenish time is 20 seconds, which is very, very long. The Simulate without level 20 talent with the outer ring is not going to get you out of the trouble. They are severely under-leveled, and that's going to be another tower. They are going to back off, reset, wait until they have their cooldowns available. Pretty long cooldowns on their side. Templar Assassin and Slardar, they don't care too much about cooldowns, other than BKBs, but everything else is on relatively long cooldown. And we can see the Ghost Scepters. How many do they have? 1, 2 available at the moment, but I also see Nullifier being built by Slardar, who's actually going to get it in the next couple of minutes. Actually, 1.5 minutes, and I think it's fine.
We'll go for Cheer Jr. Toss into the Aether Remnant. And the control is there, but is the damage quite there? It is not enough.
Shield Rune, very smart play by him. He waited until Shadow Demon ulti ran out, so he doesn't get dispelled.
Soxa low. They'll look over at Watson. BKB. Overgrowth committed. They get the kill to the Shadow Shaman. Now they're going to chase out of the Templar Assassin, who doesn't have an Aegis. He's trying to survive, but he ends up dead. Soxa, Watson, both gone. Yeah, you survived on this Slardar, but all of a sudden in Aurora, with a glimmer of hope, when you kill the carry, open up the valve on the Copium tank, because it's back on.
Their cooldowns were still not ready. Brewmaster now thinking about maybe going in with the rest of the team. There was no split available. And Chira Jr.
Oh, the gem he just got. We talked about this. Granted, now in a position where you feel like you need to have it to take away this vision. I understand it, but it was gone very quickly.
Yeah, we have like stats like, you know, Aegis power play and stuff like that. We need the gem power play to see how long have you been holding the gem, how many sentries and obs you were able to deward with it.
Didn't even get the ring resized before he dropped that gem. They'll find the Hex. It's on a V2. There's the Primal Split. And the Viper Strike comes through from WS, but they've got him Cyclone up into the air. V2 already used that borrowed time. Cheer Jr. gets that kill with the Cyclone. Now WS is controlled. They'll bind him up with the help of Maladich. They're still chasing WS with the Brewmaster, and they'll have an Avalanche to stop these Brewwings of going forward, but the blink forward for Maladich. They'll look over at Soxa. He is alive and will shackle up Mikoto. They'll follow this up with a Crush. They'll get this kill. He's dead too. Now they look at WS, who's trying to TP away from Maladich as well as DM, and you make it a third. It's a 30,000 net worth lead for Yandex.
It was very clean execution so far from Yandex. They literally didn't make a single mistake up until this point where they lost their carry. And now Roshan is going to be available in a minute, potentially, if they want to wait it out. But they could also start to push 30 seconds, 20 seconds without Abba. Unfortunately for them, Abaddon did not have ulti available.
Just getting ripped through the borrowed time. They don't even care about it.
Shadow Shaman also has level 15 talent, Hex Breaks, which is going to be insanely good against Abaddon.
Yeah. Abaddon trying to borrow all the time he can. He's even listening to Hootie and the Blowfish's song Time, but there's just not enough of it. We're 34 minutes into the game, and Abaddon just seems to not have the sands ready in this one. It's tough. There's been hope. There's been kills on a Watson, but it's just falling short of where they needed to be, and it almost stems directly from that tri-lane, right?
Pretty much. Mid lane is kind of won by default with the matchups that he's playing into. One early rotation, the rotation in the tri-lane, very limited amount of damage that they have in this tri-lane because Kaori came in slightly later as well, and then 1v1 trade. Brewmaster definitely fine with this type of a trade. Now refresher completed on him.
Oh, PVISION losing the chance at an Orchid for a little while. Not that that's gonna be too amazing, even if he gets it.
Orchid would allow them to maybe get a kill on a Brewmaster if they focus him with everything.
It would be really tough still with the living armor, right?
With the toss back into Orchid, right clicks, Viper Strike, should be enough.
Hex, chicken fingers, and a 2-shot from Watson. Watson still ripping through all these heroes on Aurora. Junior stays smoked, doesn't find anybody, and the split gets committed. They'll even throw down the Serpent Wards. They want to complete Mega Creeps. Viper coming back, and DM with the Brewings in the base. He goes to the Cyclone. That's going to land on a WS. They're going to buy back on Kaori. Forcing this glyph out. Junior with a double crush on that blink in, and now the refresher into yet another split. Methodical here from Yandex, not overcommitting in any way. Don't need to go overcommit in any way either. They will secure themselves Mega Creeps. They know that Roche is going to be back up in 30 seconds, so they do not have to force this. Templar Assassin and 8 giving them options on knowing when the timings are. Making sure, hey, well, now we don't have Brew Split. Back up. Wait for the timers. Get Brew Split back up again. Have ourselves an Aegis. Get the next Roche. Why not?
Third Eye, innate ability of TA, does allow her to do that. Where's that third eye coming from? Whenever I think about third eye, I feel, you know, I'm start thinking about the Brood Mother maybe.
It's under the hat. Just like the end of that Twilight Zone episode. We can hear the whole time, and he just lifts the hat up, and there's a third eye. Actually going to Roche on Aurora. Obviously under the assumption that the Yndx kind of know it's up. And Mira, they threw dynamite on him because they blew up this rock quickly. Engraved an entire Mount Rushmore into the side of the body of Tiny, and now they look over at Kaori. They might have caught Soxa for a second, but Soxa is still alive. Kaori going. BKB's going to be popped by Chirajina. They go after WS. He's throwing the right clicks onto the Shadow Shaman.
DM, he's dying.
Makoto. They'll finally take out DM. They might get Soxa. There's 2 dead without buyback on Yandex, but Makoto, Ghost Scepter, Astro Step gets away. Mira dusting, trying to keep Makoto alive.
Double jump.
But there's the kill.
And double kill.
Called. And that will be game 1 going the way of Yandex.
It was a nice try in the end from Aurora to go for this type of a play, but they do see them. They were in vicinity. Extremely clean execution from Yandex in this one. The way that they were sieging the high ground, Aurora, they tried to use this cooldown on both splits that they had in the fight when they killed the mid barracks, but yeah, perfect.
Luna coming out of nowhere, or did you know?
Yes, we knew.
You knew. What don't you know?
I knew everything about Dota.
Who's in the files? Oh, you said Dota. Dota. Okay, no worry. All right, I'll let you go then. That's fine with me. Let's go into the game and see if he knows everything like he says.
Coming into game number 2, Aurora Yandex says Yandex have themselves a 1-0 lead to go on in this one. Watson did, in fact, I believe, get first blood on that. He killed off Mira. Taking a look at this mid matchup, Lacoste, it's Cheer Jr. back on the starter, which they were talking about in the interview among some other subjects. And Makoto's here on the puck. How does this work out, you think?
I think he should be doing slightly better than he was doing on Void Spirit. I've seen also pucks go even sometimes even like slightly. It's a skill-based matchup. It depends. I've seen Slaughter get like solo kills and then snowball from there. But there's also a hero I want to be talking about. That's Luna. This hero hasn't been the most popular hero. I feel like maybe there was a place in meta for this hero to be picked up, but I have stats stuck in my head from Dream League Season 26 when VTune was standing in for Team Liquid. Overall, Luna was 0-7 at that tournament. VTune played it 3 times. They kind of wanted to force it because he loves to run this hero, but they haven't managed to find any success. And so far at Wallachia, Luna is sitting at 50% 2 games. We saw 2 different facets. This time around, he is playing with the Moonshield facet, and we will see the first blood again.
Therefore, Watson, Mira dies, but DM falls to VTune, so he gets a little bit of a bump up. Both carries getting a little something out of that first skirmish. Not the try we got last game. A little disappointing. There was that time where there were tries all the time, and I was kind of over it. But now when we get to see it every now and then, I want it back all the time until I get sick of it again. But we get the 2-on-2, and you've got Pugna here with the Luna against DM and Saksa on the Tusks.
Not going to be an easy lane for DM this time around. First of all, he's not in 1v1 situation as a Brewmaster. He's playing into 2 range heroes. You try to get close, you get beamed, you get blasted, a couple of right clicks as well. So every single time he gets close, it's going to be a bit more difficult. So Saksa will try to pull the creep wave. They don't have really a way to stop the creep wave from getting pulled. Saksa does have boots of speed. And this top lane panel talked about it a bit. It is a lot of slow. I'm a big fan of these carries that deal mixed damage. Luna was always that type of a carry. Beastmaster, it's a bit of a newer thing where people are still like getting the Aghanim Scepter and then going for right click with Shadow Blades, with Manta Styles, even the Butterflies, Bloodthorn, whatever is needed. It becomes very difficult to kill. Lotus does belong to Yandex.
Do you agree with the panel in which you want to see Luna just go to that all-in right-click build?
I think you can... It depends, because they don't have the traditional aura buyer from the offlane. Usually Brewmaster doesn't buy into pipe. If he might need to go for it in this game, but it also doesn't feel as good compared to some other offlaners where it's like Underlord, where you're playing Centaur. So these auras are kind of natural build-up for you. You can get different items on a Brewmaster. We'll see if he decides to go for it. It's a really good pipe game, considering that all the damage they have is magical until Luna starts to right-click.
We've seen in the past these supports sometimes go for those aura items, but with Tusk and Jakiro, it doesn't exactly feel like those kind of supports that can bear the burden of going into those aura items for you.
Yeah, a lot of the damage also will be split between your Brewlings, Beastmaster summons, even Manta Style from Beastmaster if he decides to go for it, and he might in this game. Shura Jr. not going to be able to pick up this Water Rune.
Has to not commit, and that will be the bottle refilled 2/3 of the way up for Mikoto, picking up that Water Rune. Doesn't have a lot of mana, but he, of course, has the sips to drink. Shura Jr. started very well in the last game. Currently doing well in the CS department, but now they're looking over at WS, trying to get these axes to fly and get this kill onto the Mars. These illusions are not quite going to do enough to get the kill on a Maladich, but the commitment there from Watson with the double bores does.
Mira's also in trouble. Yeah, he looks very dead here as well, unless he decides to TP out, and he does.
No way to stop that TP at the moment.
Yeah, Hawk was not ready.
And a 1-0-2 build here for Jakiro, so it doesn't have the Ice Path or anything to stop that either. Jakiro, double Fairy Fire. We've been seeing a lot more of double Fairy Fire.
We saw triple Fairy Fire on Jakiro. You do get more benefits than the other heroes, knowing that you have double the damage, so double attack, I mean.
WS immediately getting pressured.
Not an easy lane for Mars by any means. You can't kill the boars, you don't have enough. Boars are way too tanky. Once you get them to level 2, they have 450 HP. Shadow Demon also doesn't deal well with them. But they also have an old school combo that we didn't mention. The Shadow Demon plus Luna allows you to siege, create more illusions. Maybe that's why he's also going to be opting to go for the right-click oriented build, get all those stats up.
See which offlaners kind of get the most out of the game. As you can see, Brew struggling a little bit as well. Mars getting a little bit more currently. You did say that Brew's not going to have the best time in his lane overall.
As we can see, very difficult lane for him. Snaps the coil.
Snaps, but Maladich is here. Disruption onto Maladich instead, so Shura Jr. doesn't get more focused than just the coil. He's able to survive this while Kaori's on the run from the Tusk. They have Corrosive Haze, but another hero that's just going to get under the tower and out of harm's way. What's the initial game plan for both these teams? terms of like that 10 to 15, 10 to 20 minute mark before we start going maybe first Roche with the Corrosive Haze or something along those lines and Tormentor. What are we looking at?
Yeah, I would like to see V-Tune. We talked about his twin gate rotations as Luna. Once you hit level 6, if the lane pushes in, and naturally it should, you have Jakiro, you have Beastmaster, a lot of summons. If you use your Liquid Fire, it's going to deal extra damage. So it does allow Luna to go through the twin gates, potentially get the backstab going onto the enemy carry. And we're seeing Puck make a rotation, no coil.
Yeah, no coil used in mid, but with the spear landing, that's going to be a dead Jakiro. Watson dives in for WS, getting that kill there, but with 2 heroes around, gets a second as Mikoto, just too much health for him to deal with, ends up killing off Watson. Double kill for the Beastmaster.
He's more than fine with this type of a trade, getting a double kill, getting solo XP from one of the kills, but so is Mikoto. He is getting involved compared to previous game. He was sitting at 0-1 and 0 for good first 15 minutes. This time around, it's gonna need to be him to be the playmaker. 2 supports, they are kind of bad at making moves, but they're good at grouping around the mid laner and using, like playing with the catapult, using blast on the tower. So it's very important that Mikoto gets a good early start. First split use, 7.5 minutes in.
Yeah, committed onto Kaori, who is stuck via the shards, not able to survive with both heroes diving this tower. Good move, good shards from the Tusk. Makes it quite simple with that primal split. Saksa taking the shrine, Mira taking the other. No double shrine for either team, which is something that we saw a lot of throughout the group stage, or the Swiss stage of this tournament. As Mira goes to get some stacks ready for potentially the Luna to take.
Mikoto.
They can into this Luna as they're going to come towards
They're getting scouted. This observer board, not a conventional one by any means, near the Roche pit, showed both of the heroes, allows Maldidich to run away, while Beastmaster is farming safely in the jungle.
Yeah, he's back safe and hidden. They haven't put a lot of pressure on the tier 1 tower top either, so Beastmaster's kind of free to do this, and he's not losing much in his lane in doing so. Maldidich will come into the bottom lane, and now another ward is down. He'll decrepify himself, but with Saksa here with Maldidich and DM, that'll be another kill into Kaori, this Pugna losing his life again. Now is Mikoto and WS finally committing onto this tower. See if anybody tries to rotate on this more than just the Tusk. But with 3 heroes around, it's a little bit tough. They'll cut the creep wave, make sure these creeps get in successfully. It was something that Aurora struggled with in the last game, was getting these towers and opening up the map for themselves. Their map shrank so much that now a little bit of the opposite feels quite nice. But they're going to TP the Puck over, as well as the Luna. Waning Rift, silence onto the Jakiro. Maldidich, he is in a lot of trouble and will fall to Mikoto, who's got this amplified damage.
And they also saved the tower for now. They can get a deny on the tower. No glyph available.
Seeing those TP rotations over bottom, Watson feeling more comfortable to move forward again.
Mikoto with the twin gate rotation. I really like this play from Mikoto. He's all over the place. He's pretty much the driving force of the team, involved in all 4 kills. TP's bottom, they grab a kill. He TP's to the top lane, secures the tower. I wanted to see this rotation from V-Tune slightly earlier, because the lane, again, was pushed in, and maybe they would be able to grab a kill, but this time around, Aurora managing to punch back, and also not allowing Chira Jr. to replicate the game that he did have in game number 1.
Yeah, at this point in game number 1, it was already a 4,000, 5,000 net worth lead for Yandex. They had come off the lanes with such a high advantage that it made the entirety of game number 1 near impossible for Aurora. They've set themselves up in a much better position. Snowball pulling in Chira Jr. Spear's already a miss, so they don't have anything to lock down these heroes and try to get away. WS dead to rights, and Chira Jr. will get that kill. Watson closing in on that Aghanim Scepter, which is a big power spike for Yandex. And Aurora just still trying to sit back and farm.
We'll see if Yandex this time around tries to go for another early Roche. They do have Beastmaster Ags, as you said, very soon.
Yeah.
You have Corrosive Haze, only level 1 at this time. He's not getting the levels like he did in the previous one. And most importantly for DM, he's having a good time. Like, he managed to get hit the hand of Midas, has the same amount of farm as Puck, getting into Aghanim Scepter. I would still maybe start thinking about getting one of the auras after he finishes off that Ags, because he's having that good of a time. It's a really good pipe game. Crimson Guard is also very good against Luna and all of the illusions, but you also kill the illusions with your Dispel, so it might be opting to go for pipe instead.
So I had said earlier that I didn't really think these supports were going to go for being that replacer and bear the burden, but with Jakiro queuing up pipe, it's going to be a long time till he gets it.
Okay,
if
so
he goes for it.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's a very good pipe game, so I wanted to see it maybe slightly earlier.
This is... What's the timing if Jakiro's the one committing for it?
They need 2 good fights. Roshan, some tower. He finds GPM enchantment. It's doable.
See what Maladish can get out of the game, because currently he's sitting top of the supports. So it's not like he's having a bad game at all. He's already got drums. He's happy with what he's received throughout the game. Mira now running. And then we're down Dream Coil and the Eclipse. V2 going to get the kill on Achiro Jr. Now the silence to follow up onto the Tusk. One more right click from Kaori to get the kill there. And Sox is dead. So 2 heroes fall on Yandex. Aurora starting to finally feel powerful enough to take it to Yandex. A little bit more than they have in the last game 1 and extra 12.5 minutes we've seen so far.
Bringing in numbers and 2 supports with defensive capabilities. Usually I'm not a big fan of Pagna plus Shadow Demon as a support duo, but the other 2 cores have ways of initiating a fight. Mars with the Blink Dagger in the mid game. Same goes for Puck. Puck even pre-Blink Dagger. So it's going to be much easier for them to start a fight. A lot of the times you will see this type of a lineup and then you have like offlane Viper and you just can't play the game, especially if your mid laner gets heavily focused, so he can't get a Blink Dagger relatively quickly. This time around, Aurora having a much better game, much better draft as well, and overall plan.
So we're going to have to deal with Watson at some point, who is getting a juicy stack in the triangle. He's slamming, he's farming, he's fine. Mira, meanwhile, looking to get something out of the game as he wants that Pavis. Obviously, that extra armor, just trying to keep these heroes straight and narrow on Aurora overall. But the timings for a couple of big items are going to be soon enough where I had mentioned it earlier, where for Yandex, you're going to hit this like blink for Beast and this Ags for Brew, where it's setting up towards that Roche, right? You win a fight, go for Roche, and then all of a sudden you're kind of controlling objectives. Aurora, do you think they're going to be okay with the farm that they're getting at the moment to kind of defend this timing?
Yep, they have pretty good scaling. You have Mars, who just picked up a Blink Dagger, Witchblade available on Puck, Luna. Might actually have Manta style for that Roche fight if necessary, if she gets a good amount of farm. Double Ravage onto Watson. This is the power of the hero. He can farm multiple camps at the same time, drag them in. And we're seeing more and more Beastmaster being played from a carry role. It was exclusively played as an offlaner, maybe back in the days with the Bloodstone when it was a thing. We saw a good amount of Beastmaster from the mid lane. In the recent couple of months, Beastmaster from the mid lane. And now people also realize this hero can actually carry the games with the right-click damage.
Triple offlane draft for Yandex. But a lot of faith from their coach, too, in that interview. Kind of definitely feeling like they can know enough as Saxa gets taken out by WS. I like the confidence that I hear from Yandex's coach coming into this game. Especially off game number 1. It's hard not to have that kind of greedy confidence.
It was clean. It was very clean execution in that game number 1. I feel they're not going to be able to like push straight away into these Roche fights. You would ideally want to have Slardar being level 12, have Shard, which is getting delivered on the courier right now, and you want to have Brewmaster with Aghanim Scepter. So waiting for another minute or so, I think, for Yandex, and then they're going to smoke up and try to force a Roche fight. Snowball.
Snowball save, phase shift, Ice Path landing, Macropyre, and the Roar. Maladish survives, and Makoto's the one who dies. Coil getting used, and they don't even kill the Jakiro there.
That Cloak actually keeping him alive. Cloak, Ash Legion Shield, Brawny Enchantment, all these things, they are adding up. This is a massive kill. It might not look like it's a big kill, but it's also shutting down Puck. It's allowing your position 5 to get some extra bit of a gold. As we said, this pipe that he's building into is going to be super valuable.
Working on getting that Ring of Tarask, which is the most expensive piece of it, 1,700 gold. But I like the idea, and I like the commitment to going into that pipe, and it makes me wonder what Brewmaster's going to want after this Aghanim Scepter. So I'm curious to see when he gets there, what's he's going for afterwards. Watson, meanwhile, here with Maladich over bottom. And he, like he said, picked up the Blink Dagger. He wants the BKB. It is setting up to have yourself a little bit more freedom in the fights coming up. And you do smoke on the side of Aurora. WS and Mira looking towards bottom, but nobody here. Nobody close to the vicinity. They could twin gate it. But overall for Yandex, just kind of avoiding the ganks coming from this Radiant side initially. And we'll commit to going into the twin gate. Who can they find? Tusk is here, Slardar nearby. WS, he does have that blink available, so he's able to make that jump. They'll have the disruption as a little bit of lockdown or save as a follow-up to a blink spear arena, but they don't quite find anybody quickly enough. And Watson, Zox, and the rest of the side of Yandex are just going to take this time to farm. And they farm to the point where they're feeling like they can fight. So they'll smoke.
Oh, they know where he's farming, and he's all alone.
Yeah, the team just went through the twin gate. 4 heroes went through the twin gate. They're just going to need a jump with a roar, and that's what they start with. So the snowball follow-up means there's no way out for PVISION. DM gets the kill, and taking out that Luna is a big moment for Yandex, and one that they could parlay to a Roche with this Beastmaster combo with the Slardar. Dream Coil committed on the kill on a Maladich, a little bit of revenge for Makoto, but a consolation prize that just does not feel as good as what Yandex got in killing off this carry on the side of Aurora.
And I like that DM is going in and try to take away the rune from the enemy team, knowing that he can't really die, even though rune spawns on the other side. But that was a big play, going into the enemy triangle, killing Luna. You can say that he got Aurora'd there, unfortunately. So slowing down his farm. And onto the mid lane. They are fight ready. Ags on the Beastmaster. This has to be super difficult to fight. This is very difficult to fight into. A good thing, at least for Aurora, is that he doesn't have that much mana to work with. They have no mana booties yet on any of the heroes, and seems like they're not going to be building into them. But I also like that Maladich is farming on the other side of the map, completely alone, gets the Observer Ward, gets some extra gold. You said the most difficult part for getting this pipe is going to be getting Ring of Tarask, and he got it.
Yeah, finished off getting the gold by taking on an Observer. He's been farming in this bottom part of the map quite a bit, and I mean, that's why Makoto's been going there, trying to get the kill on a Maladich, gets one turned around on him second time. That's where the luck was, and they were able to get that kill onto the Jakiro to slow down this pipe. But it's not too much longer until he has this item.
They have
the hard work's going to be done soon.
With the next round of items, Yandex is going to feel super powerful. You're going to have 2 BKBs, and you will have pipe available. Plus the Blink Dagger on Brewmaster, so he can jump the backlines, be very annoying for both of the supports. It's basically disrupt the backline, try to get a kill on one of them, even though they have protection against each other. One protection is dispellable. That is going to be Pugna's Decrypify. Tormentor in 10 seconds. They're still pinging out Mira, thinking about maybe getting the jump first, but there's still a tier 1 tower available.
Tier 1 available in that top lane. Not able to rotate, defend this Tormentor. Now my question is, there's a lot of time, but do they go for this Shrine and start to take over the experience lead? That's something that teams, usually when they've got a little bit more map control, they're willing to do. But with the tier 1 tower there, it's a little bit more difficult to steal a Shrine away, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're on the same page at the moment. They might be wanting to get a pick off. They still have to kill some of the towers. The tier 1 tower top is available. And right now, Aurora, they are getting outmaneuvered, at least for now. Chira Jr., they might be able to get a jump here, and they do.
They've got the coil. God's Rebuke, the spear, doesn't snap the coil. And Chira Jr. trying to run away, but he'll throw that ult from the Shadow Demon and put it all together to finally get a kill on the Slardar. Something they really need, and anything they could do on one of the initiators, which is that Slardar, to slow him down and get him off the map, gives V2 more time to continue to farm. Watson now looking at a Disperser next. How do you feel about that?
I like it. It's one of my favorite items. I don't get the chance to buy it as much from the off lane. So a bit jealous always happen. Yeah, not on Pudge, on pretty much any of the offlaners. Well, maybe on Pango, because that was a hero back then. Even though we've seen Pango today, did get a dub.
The hero's back?
Yeah, we had an interview with Amar, and I did ask him about Pango during the previous Dream League about what does he think about Pango, because they kind of ruined him, and he said the only way to play the hero is to get the disperser on him.
Jump in deep, look for the Pugna. Kaori gonna try and life drain and stay alive, but that's not gonna work out. Shards are around this Mars. Macro Pyre's there too. This disruption, sure, it's a save, but it's gonna be a save enough to really be long-lasting. They'll take out WS, they'll end up trading Soxa. They finally get their mission complete by killing off Kaori. These heroes are low on the side of Yandex. They have an Aegis available on Watson. Doesn't quite use it. He's down low on mana and health. They'll just retreat as the Split and the Brew were in pretty deep, but the one that he formed back to.
We did not want to commit with the Eclipse. It's insane amount of damage that they are lacking inside of the arena, especially with the Victory Feast facet. If you grab a kill, you're going to get the extra damage, max HP as a heal that's going to come through. Seems like they still want to take this fight with the Eclipse, but they can't find the opening.
They've got Makoto coming from the side, but he doesn't have coil. Their lockdown's very limited trying to make this chase. Watson's already free to leave. It's 30 seconds up on that Aegis. He'll regen all the way back to full. Didn't want to give them the potential timing on watching it time out and dying right afterwards.
But yeah, the reason why he didn't use the ulti is what we mentioned earlier. It's a lot of that damage that's going to be split amongst the Brewlings, maybe a Boar, maybe a Hawk, so it's not going to be as effective. So he needs to wait it out. He needs to be the one waiting until Brewlings are gone. Luna, in theory, is a good hero. I don't remember seeing this matchup in a long time because Luna was just not popular as a carry. But I want to see how much he's going to be able to deal with the Brewlings. Once you get your butterfly timing, in theory, you should have enough damage, but it also depends whether you're clicking your BKB, your Manta-style illusions are going to get dispelled. If you don't precast the BKB, you're going to get cycloned into the air. So not an easy matchup for Luna by any means, playing into Brewmaster, but maybe if they can hold them inside of the arena, the Brewlings are going to die.
See if they have a shot. At least on that, though a net worth lead is small. 4K, doesn't feel like it's that massive lead they had in the last game. They were up about 35,000 at some point. Blink Crush then, the Spear, but that lands on the Tusk. They go to the Dream Coil. They've got the Primal Roar. It's going to be out of the Luna. In trouble. BKB popped.
Got the Eclipse.
Down goes Kaori. They go to the Eclipse. They get the kill on V2. It's going to be a double kill for DM. WS is standing in the macro fire, but he's got the BKB. Gets out of the arena. The Axe is flying forward. Jared Jr. looking for a Blink as well as a Crush. That lands on him, but not before the BKB runs out. The chase still for the damage. They've got the stun. They have the Pavis. He heals up a little bit. Makoto is here. Take out some of these Brewlings. DM back to form, blinks away, but they got the kill into the Luna, so that's an automatic victory for Yandex, just losing the Tusk.
Aghanim Scepter on Brewmaster allows him to cancel the split at any time. He gets out, and he blinks out immediately. You can see that Luna is not able to deal the damage immediately. If they find an opening onto her, you have multiple BKB piercing abilities, actually 3, which is pretty massive, and they also have 3 shiny BKBs, plus the pipe fighting inside of the arena allows them to stay super tanky, and a big fan of Maldrish's item build. Like, this guy is kind of nailing it. Drum into pipe, and I believe he's going to be trying to find the farm and get the Guardian Greaves, just to have that extra sustain. It's all about surviving the initial fight from Aurora. They use Arena, Coil, and Eclipse. If they don't get the kill, they lost the fight immediately.
I was looking at his build, and he hasn't put the commitment into the Guardian Greaves just yet. But I think that's a question of whether or not he wants to go to Boots of Bearing or keep the mech. But he's probably just going to go get himself those Greaves. Yeah, the drums, you know, it's always possible. But with the Greaves and the pipe, you feel so strong and so sustainable in these fights.
Yeah, it's more about, like, Boots of Bearing, insanely good item against Arena. Not as much against the Coil. You don't get, you don't get the reset, and also you get Demonic Purge, which means that it's going to get dispelled.
Very true. AC being built by DM, and we were questioning what the build was going to be as he went to the Blink. He's got this Midas. He's also got Boots of Travel to move around as much as he can around the map. Allows him to be somewhere else, TP into these fights, give him that ability to come in, throw out that split, and really just control up Aurora, right?
Yeah. It's more about the backlines. He's kind of the secondary control. It's going to be Primal Beast. Sorry, Primal Beast. I always think about Primal Beast whenever I see Beastmaster for some reason. Maybe I miss it. Maybe I miss playing Primal Beast. Maybe that's why. But Beastmaster, the other beast, just finished off his Disperser, which is going to be insanely good, removing some of the buffs that they do have. The Solar Crest, and also very good against Pugna. So if he manages to get the jump, great against the Cripify, Glimmer Cape as well. I don't know, something about this item just screams we are in the lead. If you see this item, a lot of the times is kind of saying we feel so confident, especially at these pre-30-minute games. Butterfly now completed on Luna. It's a big damage increase.
Tier 1 top finally dropping. Stayed up there for a long time. Blink in. Tune turning this, but they've got the Primal Split. Another ward, it was committed. Disruption to save himself for a little bit longer, but there's the blink into the Walrus Punch as well as the shards around WS. Ice Path laid down, not going to land on a V2. They'll use that Primal Aurora. It locks up this Mars. Mars, he does have Arena. He can turn. The Spear gets thrown and actually stuns up the Tusk on the other side of the arena. Kind of weird. V2 though drops the Eclipse. It's on to Watson and now trying to run, but the Life Drain doing
damage
some
coming out from
V2. They get the kill on Watson. They take Sox in. Now they look for the rest. DM in the face of these heroes, but now Tier Junior TP out with the BKB. They still have more from Aurora. As DM, no split, not a lot of life, trying to escape. It's not going to be enough for him as WS will get that double kill. 4 heroes die on Yandex. This game's back to even, and Luna finally able to show off the strengths.
Showing off her Butterfly in that previous fight. Mikoto and Luna, they were not targeted. This time around, there's no Aurora on Luna, and a bit of a disjointed fight for Yandex. Brewmaster jumping in, almost solo killing Pugna, but then he gets saved by Shadow Demon. 2 supports who can take care of each other. That's always going to be good. There was no follow-up. They had this Observer Ward. DM's going to be jumping in, getting the split immediately. But there was no Chira Jr. I think he needed to be the one also getting the jump. And now we can see the power of Luna against the Brewlings. She uses her Lunar Orbit with the Butterfly. And what was before level 15 talent, the 40-second Eclipse cooldown, it is now level 20 talent, which does allow him to fight more often, pretty much every single minute. And after that, they're also running out of steam a little bit. If they use this Roar, plus the split, and not also get a kill, Luna, who was not focused, she's going to be dominating the fight.
The fight did feel a little disjointed from
it did
as well. You can see Mira very animated, at least facially animated. True Junior with the BKB. This is by Roche. DM's in. He'll go to the split. In other words, in the pit. So don't have vision on that. It's starting to strike a couple of these heroes quite low. They need something with him. And it's going to be Soxa who comes over and throws himself into a snowball. But now with the Warriors Punch, they go after WS. Shards thrown out, locks up this Luna, and now the Slithering Crush, but the Decrepify, they'll still get the kill to Kaori. They'll take out 1. With no Kaori, can they get anything more out of this fight? Mikoto, he's found for a second. They've got the Cyclone back to 4.
Only on 1.
Around Maladich, but the Ice Path lands. Snowball to save the Jakiro. The chase is on, but it's going towards the Luna. The BKB is going to be popped by WS. It's also going to be popped by the Luna. They go to the Primal Roar. It's going to be the lockdown that they need, but the God's Rebuke hits on a 2. Soxa low once again. The run away from Watson. The rest of Yandex want to get out. Makoto's not working with a lot of mana, but they found themselves this Beastmaster. He is left all alone, trying to escape. Gets the blink off, but is he able to TP out? Does he have a TP available? No, it's on cooldown for 7 more seconds. Breathe too loud, roar too loud, drum too hard, you might get caught, but they end up TPing away, expecting that he had already left because the Shadow Poison didn't connect.
Ooh, that was so close. Luna with Lunar Orbit, with this facet, you have 30% damage reduction. He got it right before the Roar, which means that 30% of that damage is gone. And again, they're not playing with the split. I feel like Yandex, they need to be able to go together, him and Slardar, and find these backline supports, get a jump, and delete them immediately. 66% in favor of Aurora.
They're not playing like they go together like peanut butter and jelly. And they're unfortunately playing like milk with garlic in it. You'd never think of a combination like that. It just doesn't go together. They need to get it more cohesive.
That sounded disgusting.
I know.
You're probably that type of a guy that pours milk and then puts the cereal in.
No.
Instead of the other way around.
I thought you were going to say, I'm the guy who puts milk in the cup and then the chocolate syrup. And I was going to say, yeah, who doesn't do it like that?
I didn't even know that was a thing. Off to the high ground they go. Vitun with the Aegis, level 21. Once you lose the tower, that tower, your barracks are in a lot of trouble.
I think we do have a listen in from Saksa. If we could take a little listen.
If this Luna gets a shit, we can't really do anything. We need to wait it out. Thank you, ladders.
Thank you, lads. Get a little bit of a listen in. They know where the bread is being buttered for Aurora.
Yep. Thank you for your attention. Now we need to
figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. It's not as easy anymore. This Luna is definitely online.
Vici doing another one of those games where he only dies once or twice and has farmed his way to the top. And he is scaling way better than the side of Yandex for the moment. It feels like Watson's just not outputting enough in this game. Cheer Jr. blinks in with a BKB. They're trying to get the control on a WS, but he's so tanky. Dream Coil committed, and they would just back off on Yandex. Stands forward and, I mean, has this bulwark, not taking a lot of damage, has a Lincoln's, trying to control and keep himself alive. And he's done just that. A little bit tough earlier in the game for the MOUZ. A couple of deaths early, but he's only 3, 4, and 9. His arenas have been on point. Spear, DM. On the run once again, but under the shroud of that Glimmer Cape, he gets out. He wants Refresher. He wants another split. Trying to control as much as possible, and a Silver Edge for Watson. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a, I would say, kind of standard Beastmaster item. This item has found a really good place in current meta. Let's see the initiation. Saksa, he's in.
Ooh, Roar from behind, trying to go for the Shadow Demon. They get Mira.
Disperser in action.
And now, with BKB, Watson needs to run. Vici's still working
Satanic,
with an Aegis,
not
still looking to kill Kaori. They've got the buyback coming out from the Shadow Demon. They're going to try and get back into the fight. Walrus Punch. This Luna caught, and the Aegis is gone. Cheer Jr. right into the face of WS. He was trying to get some help with the macro fire, but he was surrounded by this arena. They'll get this Slardar, but are they going to commit the buyback to go after V2? They have the Cyclone. He's going to be up into the air. Makoto now needing to run. Watson throwing these axes. They've got the split still going. WS is going to throw the spear that hits onto the Tusk. But Tusk, he's not the problem. It's Watson. It's this Beastmaster. It's the rest of the team that are really being problems for the side of Aurora. The BKB and the TP out from this Luna means they're giving up on the fight, and Makoto needs to get out. But with the Illusory Orb and the Jaunt away with the Blink, he's got enough space and will not be dead this time around.
This time they managed to find a good opening on one of the supports immediately. Disperser finally in action, removes that Decrepify, and they are able to get the kill, able to get the buyback out of Mira on top of that, and not losing barracks. That's what's most important. Mira's pinging out, go for the barracks. We still have Luna, but this time no Aegis available. And they also managed to kill Luna. Like, not instantly, but they did a very good amount of kiting. When she popped her Satanic, she was not lifestealing. She did not hit a single hero, dropping down to like 50% HP. And there's the Satanic in action, plus the Lincolns, and they're gonna wait it out. Even though they're fighting on the side, this left Observer Ward gives vision to Aurora, but not able to capitalize on that. And Chira Jr. in the end, his BKB so close to being ready. 5 seconds, he's gonna die, but they're also very tanky. With the Refreshers online, Beastmaster, I see he's going for one. Brewmaster getting actually close to his. That's going to be a lot of control.
Control's going to be quite nice, and this fight is like almost an A and B part, right? Luna over by themselves, being kited, doesn't get to use the Satanic, like you said, effectively, and ends up dying and losing that Aegis, while the rest of the fight is focusing Cheer Jr. in the face of the MOUZ. Doesn't really allow MOUZ to have that impact, to have that bigger arena object available to him. And it makes it so Luna's vulnerable in a moment like that.
Yeah, you need either good vision to get the jump with Mars, or you need somebody else to provide you vision. So it needs to be Mikoto jumping in. Maybe he can give him the Lincolns, then jump in. Usually that Lincolns is saved for Luna so that she doesn't get roared. There's no other ways of saving Luna other than the Cripify, Glimmer Cape, Solar Crest, which can be removed. But I want to Puck get the first jump, try to bait a little bit, because I think he can survive long enough. Having 2 supports behind him, disruption, there's nothing against that, and then go for the arena. And he's also relatively close to Refresher, but not there yet. Needs another fight.
Nullfire will help out with the Decrepify problem as well. Closing in on getting the Relic on that. These heroes are here from Yandex, but they're not going to commit that far, as there's a smoke from Aurora that's coming in, but Yandex retreated at a good enough timing to avoid this gank from Aurora, or for the most part they have. Shards and the blink into a Walrus Punch, but now Mikoto silencing him up. Sentry's there, Dream Coil committed. He tries to survive, unfortunately. PVISION just has too much damage and has the rest of the team around him. They'll get the kill onto the Tusk.
Roshan is going to be on the other side of the map. There is no Tormentor available. And bottom is getting pushed in. 2 catapults. So somebody needs to address this, which will give them enough time for Saksa to respawn. And maybe even give them enough time for Watson to get his refresher.
There's a long time till Roche could be potentially up.
Yep.
And both teams, I don't really, with the way that they've been moving around the map, I don't really expect them to stay just farming, waiting for it. Yndx kind of have this point where they win that last fight, that last big engagement, and maybe they feel as though these next few items are going to give them that advantage to not only win a fight, but push the high ground of Aurora. And there's that refresher for DM. Double split, ready to go. Almost closing in on level 25, too. Experience-wise, not that much of a split. Yandex, they're up 4 levels, which is kind of nothing at the end of the day. We've seen much more hefty leads come out from these teams. But you can see where a lot of the net worth difference is being made. And it's the fact that Maladich is super farmed on this Jakiro, and the support difference kind of makes up the entire difference when it comes to it.
He's basically like the offlaner right now, considering how tanky he is, and starting to scale on top of that. If he manages to somehow find a farm, get to his Aghanim Scepter, throw that inside of the arena, it's going to be a good way of damage, a good way to counter-initiate. Aurora trying to find an opening.
Jakiro and Maladich understanding that he needs to be getting these items, so he hasn't gotten his next neutral items.
Keeping the
holding
GPM,
on to the greedy.
exactly.
Gotta keep the greedy. Is it greedy? Yes, but it's in the name, so you understand.
It doesn't get greedier than this.
No,
There is no tier 4 greedy enchantment.
that should change. As a support player, that should change. I want 200 GPM. You can minus all my attacks.
He has 2 really good options. He has debuff, amplification,
Woo!
and he also has the cast range.
Mira. Killed in a heartbeat. Not dead for that long. 40 seconds left to go.
This is the big one. Minus 25 seconds on Primal Roar. He can sell his treads and buy full refresher.
Has the disperser, has blink, has ways to not need those boots. See if he commits to just getting that refresher, having that double roar, and when you've got that minus on the cooldown time, there's definitely moments where you could see 3 roars come out in a fight. A lot of screaming going on in a game like that when you've got those many roars. Makoto up on the cliff, waiting Rift down, and the rest of Aurora nearby.
Chura Jr. needs to get his stuff together. There's been AC on your offlaner for good
20 minutes?
15-ish minutes, yeah.
Might be a little hot in there. They need more AC. Thank you. A hearty chuckle from Lacoste is the best compliment you can get.
And that was a good one. I appreciate that one. So 2 refreshers now available. Puck also has A on disc, but there's Nullifier, there's Disperser, which can be taken out. Maledic in a good spot to break the smoke.
Up on the high ground, Lucid Beam, there's the Spear with the Arena. They go to the Dream Coil, but the Snowball safe, so they don't even get the kill into the Jakiro with the BKB. They're going to the backlines, they're looking for the Shadow Demon. These supports are low on the side of Yandex. They get the kill into Maledic, take out Soxa, Makoto with a double. But backlines looking, Mira, is this worth the trade? Roar's gonna get used. It's on to Kaori. They get the kill there. They'll take up both supports on both sides. Buybacks come out from both supports on Aurora. They've got Tusk with his own buyback. He'll come back into the fight in a second. The Cyclone on a WS locks him down, but Watson backing away with the Shadow Blade. They're in on Roche for a second. That will Roar. The side of Yandex have backed away, but will they concede the Roche completely?
Let's see if they can maybe find an opening. Luna does manage to stand her ground this time around. Very nice save coming out from Soxa. Gets inside, gets the snowball save, but both of them are still gonna die. Again, another disjointed fight for Yandex where they are not fighting as a unit. And again, Vtune is gonna be holding the Aegis. They get at least some kind of a trade.
Watson getting that shard. And he can get a second Hawk, or the Hawk Tua. And having multiple Hawks, having that increased duration is always nice, but it's not the best shard to have. But you get it for free, why not? Though these fights, like you said, disjointed from Yandex, it's advantage Aurora when it's split up like that. They take out the supports very quickly. The damage from Vtune's insane. And it's come to the point where we've seen this classic build where it's Shadow Demon, Luna, and when you're taking the high ground, it's just so hard to commit into the disruption and into the Luna with the damage they do, especially with the Glaives.
Still protecting the barracks, yeah. Keeping them alive. Glyph is ready if necessary. Shooter Jr. did find a new item, realized that there is AC already. So going for Silver Edge. There's one thing that I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a thing, because like Lunar Orbit, whether that's... Because you can break Moonglaves, that's good. Your Lunar Blessing is breakable, but Lunar Orbit doesn't seem to be, because like when we swap things around. But also going for a bit of a more maneuverable build with the Silver Edge. So cutting into backlines, they don't have the gem available. They do, one on Mars, actually. They did swap it.
Makoto finds DM for a second.
Makoto just needs to be, like, in their face, be super aggressive. He also hit level 25, Dream Coil, pierces debuff immunity. Has Refresher Shard from Roshan. Picked up Parasma finally. It's an insane amount of magic damage that you deal with Shiva's Guard Parasma. The Coil's gonna snap.
He's got Refresher Shard, though. Now they go to the arena, they find the Spirits onto the Tusk. He's going to be silenced with the Lucid Beam, but still not dead. BKB's going to be committed from WS. They've got the Cyclone, it's going to be out of the Luna. Lincoln's pop, Refresher there, WS now onto the backlines, taking the kill to Mira. He doesn't have buyback there for 76 seconds. But Kodo trying to help out Kaori as best they can, but they get the stun. They've got the arena, that's the second one coming up from WS. The Spear is there, Watson in trouble. BKB trying to survive, but he's going to end up falling. WS as well as V2 get the kill with the Eclipse, dropped right onto the Beastmaster. Too much for him to handle, too hot to handle, and DM now back to form, but he's got the Refresher, he's got another split. They do have buyback for Watson if they need to use it, but with the lack of commitment from Aurora on the high ground, you might see him just hold it.
Puck is dealing insane amount of damage. We said it was a bit of a later Parasma pickup for Puck, where but Parasma plus Shiva's Guard, his abilities with Octarine Core, plus Phase Shift. This hero is just nuts. I think a panel talked about this potentially being the hero of the tournament on day 1 or day 2 of Wallachia, where it looked so good. In every single game, the hero is doing stuff, and I really like the build that he's going for. I see Overwhelming Blink. When you see Overwhelming Blink plus Shivas, it's the most fun you can have in the game. You blink in, you cancel their Blink Daggers. It just gets pretty crazy. It allows Luna to siege. It's pretty similar to what Yandex did do in the previous game with the Brewmaster. So if they are going to be sieging the high ground, Puck is going to be fulfilling that role.
See if they come back to siege before the Aegis expires. A minute and a half on it. We're on this river line with the Luna, but nobody else really around. Makoto towards the triangle. WS now taking that twin gate to go farm top. The support's finally back alive for Aurora. They're waiting 13 more seconds to have Watson back here for Yandex. And now a BKB for the Tusk. He's going to try his hardest to have these saves and be able to jump in a little bit more control through BKB with this Walrus Punch if he can get to it. And have that freedom to do whatever he wants in these fights. Ice Path, TP, but the Dream Coil committed and Maladich. He is in trouble. We'll pop the pipe, the Greaves, but the kill is still there. Makoto will finish off the Jakiro, who does that buyback, but dead for 60.
The rest of the team Maladiched him. They left him alone.
Now
and another arena.
Spear. DM's going to be caught on this. Does have Primal Split. That's what he'll use. He'll start to run and needs to get away from this Luna, who can take out the Brewlings pretty quickly, but doesn't have the damage to do so, and that will be the Brewlings getting away. Just cycloning up the Luna, buying as much time as they can. As long as there's one alive, he can fall back, go back to form, be okay.
Vitoon sitting at almost 8,000 gold. He can still get the Ags upgrade. Eating Ags is one of my favorite things, like one of my favorite mechanics that has been added to the game. I know it's a longer one, but still allows you to get like 7 slotted with the Moon Shard and everything. Just allows you to scale.
High ground, Walrus Punch to start. Watson goes to the back lines, but the disruption's there for the save, and now they've got the fear. It was on to V2 for a second, but Watson's just way out of position, away from his team. They hit the arena, they get the kill, they took the Beastmaster. Maladich is finally back alive. That was arena pop, and now they're going to go to the bottom set of racks. They've got the Glaives going around. DM's dead too. Makoto getting that kill. He's been godlike quietly. I feel like the MVP of this one. V2, yeah, you're a Luna. You can get it all done, but the help of the rest of the team, especially here with the Mars, has been what they needed to come back in this second one. But can they close
You need
it
to
out?
buy back. They're going to end the game in 15 seconds pretty much. Watson, he's thinking it out.
Jumping in, there's the double buyback, nullifier BKB. That's going to be the turnaround. The Lucid Beam's going to be thrown out. They've got themselves that Axe macro fire. The Roar lands out of the Mars, but another disruption. Mira saving the day once again. WS on the run with the BKB. He turns this forward. DM looking to try and get the stop out of the TP out, but they get away. So they're not going to get V2. They'll get the kill to WS. They'll look over at the Shadow Demon. That's going to be his second one to fall. But Makoto, he's under the obs, and he is such an elusive hero. It's so hard to chase and catch this puck. Doesn't feel doable for Yandex, but now they bought back on both the Brew as well as the Beastmaster.
Only managed to kill Puck once this game, which is pretty impressive. He does have Aeon Disc. Luna also died only 2 times, so 2 cores having a blast of a game. And with no buybacks available, it's going to be a very difficult fight. No Roshan. It might respawn in a minute, so everybody from Aurora is going to be out, even if it's a fast respawn.
This Luna, 41,000 net worth, has that Ags blessing now. You're not safe from this Eclipse. Not even if you put the glasses on. You'll look right into it, your eyes will burn, and that'll be it. You'll have
the only 2 players that would be safe from it would be Planet and Boxy. They're the only ones who are playing with those dark glasses.
That is true. Planet, that's a newer thing for him.
Yeah, it is.
He could stare directly into the sun.
And that's what planets do.
I guess that, yeah, that is true. Trying to get your science on it, like I'm going to prove you wrong or something.
I don't believe in science.
I would never say that out loud. Gonna be me. Makoto's gonna get caught here. They've got the Roar, but do they have the damage to get the kill? It is so tough. Boots of Travel, they'll follow him up. They've got the Walrus Punch to get the kill. He's dead for 100.
Me caught him finally.
Oh yeah, they did.
Let's see if they can get something else done. He does have buyback available.
Roche is up. That was a quick respawn. Because that was right around Mars respawn. There was still 1 minute and 11 left. And that is now puck gone for 80. I don't expect Aurora to just let Roche go if they commit by Yandex. But they'll be in a spot where they don't really have a space to TP over to. Tier 2 mid, I guess. But it's still kind of far away. This is just too quick. They scan, but it doesn't matter. They get an Aegis for Watson, which he needs, because he's getting ripped apart in these fights. And now a Refresher Shard for Maladich to get the double Macro Pyre upgraded with Ags down. They have Cheese. Cheer Jr. can step in, blink, crush, have the Cheese. He should be able to survive and have a chance to lock down some of these heroes with more crushes, more bashes.
This is potentially the big turnaround. They also hit some big level 25s. Brewmaster being the one as well. He's level 27 now. We did not mention that one. Cinderbrew applies Clinton Loomis when ignited. So Fear Mechanic is going to be online.
That happened in the fight over by the bottom set of racks. It was a split second, but unfortunately I think that in that fight, despite the fear, Watson was already in, and he was kind of in this weird position where Yandex, when they're all aligned,
yeah,
it seems like the fights are so easy, but like when they're in these split fights, it's almost impossible.
And another 25 was also the Undispellable Corrosive Haze. So you know if you get the instant jump, you know which one is going to be like, especially for Luna when she tries to use the Manta style.
Mm-hmm. He'll be able to jump and still see the right Luna. Waiting for Tormentor. It's back up. They'll grab it quickly, and that will be Shard for DM. Upgrade to the Liquid Courage. So pour another one in. He's got that Liquid Courage going on.
It's not a bad save. It's not like anything crazy. The status resistance is good though.
Probably drinking that Johnny Walker Blue to get that Liquid Courage. As top lane getting pushed in by some of these creeps. Aurora not looking to completely commit up against an Aegis and all the goodies that Roche gave them.
Buybacks are resetting in 3 minutes. Let's see if Aurora maybe can find an opening. This is the big pickup on Mars. This is where you're online. And he also did go for Arena of Blood, giving them extra HP regen. So it's more about survivability, double arena, plus the victory feast facet.
Hex hits Watson in trouble. They've got the Saxa Tusk blinking in, but lets the Aegis drop anyway. They got the kill on Amira, taken out by back, but now needs to go over to the outpost. Eclipse down on a Watson, trying to take his second life away. Kaori's also dead. He's going to be forced to buy back. He's going to be forced to go into the shrine. Now there's the refresh with the BKB. They go to the disruption save. Mira back into the fight. Makoto now trying to secure this kill on a Watson, but they get the kill on Mira once again. He already bought back. He's there for 94. Snowball save. Roar once more. Watson now running away. Drums of Psalming, trying to get away from these heroes that do so much damage. Vici can't quite lock on to everybody. There's the refresh coming up from the Brewmaster. He's got himself another split. Kaori life draining, trying to keep the Mars alive. The Cyclone there once again onto the Luna. Now WS. He's got that arena.
Nobody inside of the arena.
The only ones in the arena are these Brewlings. Chirujina, he jumps forward. They've got a Cyclone once again onto the Luna. The blink away from Saxa, who used that snowball to stay alive. These heroes on Yandex, just elusive to what Aurora is pumping their way, and the damage just isn't getting there.
Yandex, they're going for the right targets. They need to take out these two supports immediately, forcing another buyback. There is Shadow Demon with the cheese, so maybe he can slot that in. High five the cheese, and resets are coming in. Minute and 30 seconds. Don't think Aurora is going to be able to push it in. It was a big window that allowed them to maybe go in and try to end the game, but they didn't get the hands on that Roshan. 3 Auroras used in the previous fight. Also would like to see what happened initially with the snowball save from Tusk when he jumped in, because it felt like he couldn't get it off, or he used it on something straight away, maybe like double-clicked it.
Too certain. Struggling to kill Watson a second time. It was close. The fact that he had the Aegis obviously saves that fight, but there was a point where maybe they could have caught them. Tusk jumped in, didn't end up snowballing Watson. He is very killable. He's going into the Lincolns next. He needs to be able to survive these fights. He's very fragile.
After seeing the Hex pickup, he needs extra bit of protection. Luna now with the big item, Swift Blink. When you combine that with the arenas, she can blink inside, pop the Eclipse. Even though she has that Axe already from before. But yeah, she can just jump inside and deal insane amount of damage. The damage reduction coming up from Lunar Orbit this facet is heavily underrated, especially in the late game. 30% is a high number.
Definitely is a high number. We do have a little bit of a listen in from Watson, so let's take a moment to listen in.
I'm trying to go back, guys. I'm trying to go back. I have no HP.
Trying to get back, and you can see Watson, he's forced into these positions where obviously he's got to be able to get the damage out with the Slom and have the control. Roars aplenty, especially in that fight. I think there were 3 or 4 roars within it. But Aurora, just too much for him to handle at times, and he needs to back away and get some help for the tusk.
There's the Eclipse. He's dying.
Sure, Junior, he's already dead. He does have buyback this time around. Cinderbrew does proc on a V-Tune. He's feared up for a second, but he pops that Manta. Jumping in for more, jumping into Soxa as well as Mountage. Mountage, he's going to get quite low, but he's got the Glimmer Cape for a save. Shards around him. They've kind of sold out V2 for the moment. They'll focus their attention onto the Mars. DM with this split. These Brewlings dying a little bit low. They've got the disruption. There's the save on the Walrus Punch. They go and find themselves the Primal Roar, but the Decrepify not going to save him. There's the Disperser to get the kill. They get the kill to V2. He's dead 100 seconds with buyback, and now the TP is needing to get out for the side of Aurora, but WS unable to TP. They've got the Walrus Punch once again. They're going to catch him with the Cinderbrew Fear, and Watson's got a triple kill.
He got the split. He got him with the boulder.
They stop on the TP of Kaori. DM's on a killing spree. Bull support's dead without buyback, and now it's a 3v4. But if they buyback on Maladich, they'll have a full 5th, and they gotta push it real good, because it's gonna be Luna who's gonna be back into the fight. And when you lose these fights to Luna, they can take your entire base.
And they have to push it in. They need to get those buybacks out. Luna, Eclipse is going to reset, but no buyback for 50. Primal Roar ready. I like the fact that Watson used Refresher, had a Disperser ready, killed off Shadow Demon there. Or was it Pugna? It was Shadow Demon, never mind. And they also managed to get another Roar onto the Luna.
Roar in Aeon Disc, but you're in the air for so long. Makoto's dead. Buyback force, the Clip's down. Marina there. Cheer Junior trying to get away. They got the kill into Soxa, but they're going to find themselves a Slardar. Sardar's going to be dead for 2 minutes, so is the Tusk. This is the moment that they were looking for Aurora. 3 heroes to try and get it done. Now
they don't have buyback
into this one, and Watson now running has a blink, but he's staying near. It's almost like he wants to turn. He does not have Roar, so he'll just blink. He'll commit the TP and get out of here.
It's time to go. They bought back. Aurora run it down the mid lane. Roshan may respawn in 25, but it could also be a very, very long respawn timer. Full minute and a half without 2 heroes. Jakiro, he has Macropyre. He did use Refresher in the previous one.
Watson, 8,300 gold. Almost feels like he needs to commit onto this Lincolns to have a little bit more defense while they're trying to hold this last set of racks. If Aurora do choose to push, they're going to take over the outpost to have that TP spot back in.
DM, he's going for the backstab. And they're sacrificing the couriers. They are delaying the game with the couriers as long as they can. Long 60 seconds. Glyph is ready. DM on the other side. Puck with the Refresher, so double coil.
Luna wants it, blink in. Loosen Beam, they're also going to bring WS. They've got the Hex, they'll get the kill. They're going to have buyback available on the Jakiro, but they're going to go straight for the throne. They've got a Glyph, they got a hold, they've got the silence. It's going to be through onto the Brewmaster. He's trying to survive, trying to get those split off, but he gets speared. They've got the split, they've got him. They get the kill onto 3 of these heroes. They're all forced to buy back. The Glyph comes out, but Luna's trying to end the game. It went from an 18k lane in a second, and they lose. It's Yandex who give up the game. Aurora, the banner stands tall for a moment longer because they just stole game number 2.
Ah, what a crazy game.
Maybe win this game.
Writing this down, getting the script that he just stated in all its glory.
Sounds so simple.
Yeah, it was 6 on TA, then 6 on Tide. Then they were going to get 6 on the Warlock. They were going to bring him mid, and we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I was talking more about the net worth at 10 minutes, 6k. You missed the 10 part. It should be a good and easy lane for Tidehunter. You are playing against Medusa and Treant Protector, so you're like the more levels you get once you get to like level 3, it's gonna be very difficult for them to put any pressure onto the Tidehunter. And he also started with Gush, playing into Lion. Want to see what the build's gonna be, whether he's gonna be going for 1-0-2 build. You do have more points in mana drain playing against Medusa. Could potentially try to remove some of that, but again, not too much synergy with Treant Protector and Medusa in the lane. With the heals that you're getting, it's really not effective.
When we saw the big Medusa beatdown, was it with a Treant as well? I believe it was, right?
Let me just double check that real quick. No, they had Phoenix on side of Aurora.
So kind of in this similar vein, though, right?
Yeah, it's not like you can get kills in this type of a lane, especially if the offlaner is something that is strong, something that is beefy. But Medusa's gonna get the farm. Like, I don't think they're gonna be getting kills. Maybe some turnaround kill, some trade kill, but other than that, they should be okay. And also looking at the lineup from Yandex, this is not like the most aggressive lineup. It is Centaur who likes to get the farm. Medusa loves the farm as well. So does Invoker. So little worried for them who's going to be trying to set things up. Like post 10-15 minutes, how you're going to be able to start a fight. It might need to be one aura item, of course, with the Helm of the Dominator, and then Centaur picks up the Blink Dagger. I remember DM going for, like when he was playing in PVISION, where he was going for like Blink Dagger's second item when they needed to be the initiator. When he's playing in the Timbersaw, he builds into early BKB as well. So want to see how he's going to be approaching this issue, knowing that you don't have a reliable way to start a fight. Your supports are very defensive. They kind of need to get initiated on so that they do something.
Sometimes Treant can kind of get in there invis, but that's rare. Treants usually get Blink Daggers, but it's very far in the future. That's not item 1, sometimes not even item 2.
It's a very strong lineup once you, like post 20-25 minutes, once you get the ball rolling with Alacrity on Medusa, maybe a saving item on Shadow Demon. Probably someone's gonna get Solar Crest in this one to amplify the damage output of Medusa. One aura on the Centaur, Invoker with the Meteor Hammer. Saxa trying to make a move in the mid lane, but in the bottom lane, DM, he is trying to creep skip again. Does what he does best.
Yeah.
Left alone. That's how he played in PVISION as well, and trying to make something happen out of it.
He's used to this.
Yes, not an easy lane for him playing into Templar Assassin. Quite a lot of harassment.
There's Spike onto Saxa, who had made that rotation, leaving, like you said, DM alone, but WS, Sunstrike in the right spot. And Maladich will get the last right-click on to WS after the Sunstrike connects.
I was not expecting them to land the Sunstrikes in the top lane. They have no setup. But he managed to land one, and that's all it takes. Maladich gets the kill, unfortunately. Chira Jr. would definitely love to pick that one up. But in theory, the bottom lane is good. And you also have the Cataclysm setup. Once Treant Protector gets in with the Overgrowth, with the Cataclysm, that's going to be a nasty combo.
If he's wanting to get a big Cataclysm, do you think it's just like Solar Crest Blink Dagger for Treant Protector?
I think he's going to be going for like one smaller item other than Solar Crest. He loves to buy drums on his position 5.
Right.
And then decide whether he needs a shard or if he needs a Blink Dagger. I think Saxa in this one can get the Solar, even though most of the damage on their side is magical. Everything except for TA, of course, but Solar Crest kind of needed. Good start for Yandex. First blood, 2 kills already. And a 1k gold lead.
Not bad at all. Getting towards that 6-minute rune. So you see DM still continuing to just kind of creep cut, going for the helm that you talked about. As Storm is out of the lane, he is going to have the ability to TP back in for around that 6-minute rune mark. But with Earth Spike missing, CJ is going to be able to get back to his side of the lane, and Vitabons don't really do much to him.
Yeah, miraculous moment for Chira Jr. The 2 supports, they come in, but they don't get the kill. WS slows himself down, has Ring of Health, but another Snake in a second should be able to get them the kill.
And there it is, Sunstrike, that landed, took a chunk of his health away. WS struggling in this lane. These Mystic Snakes have been hitting real hard onto the Tide. And while that's going on, True Jr., he was able to deny that amplified damage. Taking that away and still controlling the mid lane, making sure Makoto is not going to have access to refilling that bottle. Right now, he's sitting with 3 bottle sips anyway.
A very good start for Yandex. This lineup isn't really aggressive, but they are the ones having 3 kills, which is a very good start. And once Invoker gets to his Meteor Hammer, he can start pressuring the tower even more. Forge Spirits with the Meteor Hammer. These tier 1 towers completely melt. Maladich
They scanned him. They know that he's going this way. He's going to stay in Viz. We've seen this before. Mira
he might pick it
over.
up. Can Mira get in? Oh, it was so close.
Gets in and will give it up. I don't think either of them would have had a way to see him initially, but he gets out and makes sure that he's just not giving up his life. No reason to stand there, get hit, get spotted, get killed. But this leaves Watson just so experienced. He's got himself 13 charges on that wand, still holding onto some mangoes. He's just looking to sustain this lane. Treant's been there for a couple of shots in WS. Tide not really having the best start.
No. In theory, he should have, but these Sunstrike, the two that they used, did connect.
You can see he's able to stay in the pocket in the lane, but eating these Mystic Snakes are a little bit tough for him. And I think MOUZ, truthfully, doesn't really need to stick right next to the Medusa and can stack some of these camps. Earth Spike connects, but they've got the Stampede that will let Saksa leave this engagement.
Not sure if Stampede was necessary. Kaori is still level 3 on Warlock. Mira already used his stun.
Bind, stopping that TP. WS turns to Gush and actually avoids the Sunstrike this time. Gonna take a lot more to get the kill onto this Tide. They don't get the Courier either. That Sunstrike needed to finish off the kill onto the Tide. That's what's been letting them kind of break the Kraken shell. And I don't mean the ability just cosmetically. But break that outer surface of the Tide Hunter.
Interesting build from WS. This is something that I thought it's going to be slightly more popular because I thought, why not? Ring of Health being one of the items in Veil of Discord, and a lot of the times on Tide you don't want to be building into like Vanguard Crimson doesn't really work, and then if you need to buy a casual Ring of Health just for the laning phase, it feels good to amplify a bit of a team damage with Veil of Discord, and then you keep it there. Eventually, you are gonna get Shivas, but just for the... This is basically what was happening. I lost the track of time, but I would say like 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, when people were buying a Helm as...
Everybody's first item?
Yeah, Helm of the Iron Will. So, because it was like 6 regen per second, and I think it was 5 armor at the time, or 6.5 regen.
It's been nerfed a few times.
Yeah.
I think at one point it cost like $12.50 too, right? It was more expensive than it is now?
No, I was talking about Helm
Kodo.
of the Iron Will, the expensive item, the 950 one.
Don't quite get the kill. The Fatal Bonds connect, and I'll be able to disengage on that. Again, lacking the lockdown, but also not wanting to commit on that one. As they just back off to really farm the jungle. He's got this Meteor Hammer. Tyr Jr. could put some pressure onto these stacks, could get some towers as well. He's got a lot of options. His farm going pretty well. And going to be helped out here with DM. Trying to get this Ancient stack going their way.
Huge amount of gold going their way, 11 stacks, but also on the other side, Aurora, 12 stacks for them. Storm Spirit did clear already some of them.
DM quite low, but he's got the living armor from the Treant Protector to just survive. This whole time, both carries pretty wide open. Who's this benefiting more?
Templar Assassin is a bit more explosive carry, but this is a good matchup for Medusa with the items that she is buying, with the butterfly and everything. But we've seen this like similar matchup when we go back to this Medusa game that they did play on Aurora, where they lost against... There was an anti-mage problem in that game.
Ball landing in, Saksa. Vortex pulled back and has the disruption save on himself, but pretty dead to rights as Makoto comes over and gets that one. Makoto the MVP of game number 2 in my eyes.
For a good reason. He completely popped off. Makoto Storm also one of his best heroes, I would say.
Feels like maybe, you know, Makoto playing so well, he might have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder after Aurora with Lornoff also had success previously. So he's here to not only keep his stay, but prove everything behind him.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been playing almost, not perfect, but very close to it. He has had amazing games throughout this tournament.
You might like pizza, but you might not like it as much to get kicked from the team. And every single time Lorinov is used as a stand-in, I think everybody starts sweating. Whoever is the player missing from the team, Mikoto used a lot of his mana here.
Uses a lot of the mana and started to back away on Mira, but that Meteor Hammer lands. The Deafening Blast is there, and Chiro Jr. gets a kill onto the support Lion.
Storm Spirit, he gets the rune. Overgrowth did not connect. But Chiro Jr. with early Meteor Hammer is gonna have it again in a couple of seconds. Can go for the tower. Doesn't want to commit. Warlock is behind him. 2 Black Grimoire charges will push him to level 6.
Yeah, not a lot on the Grimoire just yet. DM stampeding just to get away from the Templar Assassin, who does have access to that Desolator now.
KP, he talked about TA having 6k at 10 minutes. It was 5.5, but having a complete free farm for V2 and didn't get the kill.
Chaotic Offering
dropped.
And the Earth Spike Finger combo, that's a kill to Chiro Jr. with Kaori getting credit. And now the Ravage top, but this is not the easiest trio to get away from. The Nature's Grass slows him up. This should be a kill, and will be for Watson. All that being said, they dropped that Chaotic Offering off on mid, and you could just use that Golem to get that tower, and that's exactly what they did. They had the Desolator there, 2 with V-Tune, so mid-tier 1's going to be dropping on Yandex's head.
And stealing some of the farm. Luckily for Yandex, they did clear the big stack that they did have. But looking at the carry-to-carry matchup, Watson immediately going into Butterfly, Manta-style Butterfly, and then we'll see what he's going to decide to go for next. I think this is a very good Silver Edge game. Being able to break Tidehunter, you can definitely bring him down from 100 to 0. There is no save other than Golem.
It's really tough to have many saves here for Aurora. Meanwhile, in Yandex, the initial jump, you can stop with the disruption, but other than that, Living Armor is hopeful for Yandex to try and keep these heroes alive, to get maybe the Stampede off for the Stone Gaze. But Living Armor not as much of a work with for the Medusa, of course. But Mira down here, bottom level 7, he got that first stack off the finger, and immediately off the Tranks wants the blink. So he wants to kind of help that initiation. Tidehunter, who's going into the Shiva's early, first item. You know, not going to be that blink initiator. He's going to be walking in to get these Ravages or have those gushes from a distance, but not immediately being that guy blink Ravage.
I've seen something similar from Ace when he played Tidehunter a couple of times, going straight for Shivas if it's not that good of an aura game, if you don't necessarily need to buy a pipe. Sure, there is good amount of magic damage coming up from Invoker. Centaur is so-so. Medusa is mostly physical. So Shiva's Guard to slow them down, reduce some of the region. Sunstrike, scouting things out, trying to put a bit of pressure on V-Tune. Let's see how he's going to approach it, whether he's going to be afraid, move from the triangle. But this Medusa has insane amount of farm, keeping up with Templar Assassin. She has not been contested, has 2 kills to her name.
Gonna be carry v carry at almost full potential with the way these 2 heroes are getting farm. The only real difference is the offlane. WS struggling a little bit more than this Centaur. That's led to Centaur getting the Helm of the Dominator going into the Lotus, and Mikoto jumps in. He will find Chiro for a second, but doesn't really have the follow-up or the control to make sure that these heroes are got initially. Good Fatal Bonds into Chaotic Offering, but again, just not the immediate commitment to a follow-up allows the side of Yndx to just kind of leave.
A lot of ways to disengage the fight. This has to be one of the best disengaging lineups I've actually seen in a while. You have Medusa with Stone Gaze, Invoker with Tornado, Stampede, Overgrowth, then you start to run away. So every single hero pretty much does have a way of choosing where they want to take a fight or whether they want to be taking that fight. No Golem for 2 minutes. Chiro Jr. with freshly bought Road of Athos. That's going to be extra bit of a control for Storm Spirit pre-BKB. And allow him to land the combo.
Do they go to defend this tower? Because they've got the Golem that they threw over mid to get the tier 1. They're going to start to TP in.
They have the glyph ready.
They have the glyph, and if they don't get the tower, they can heal it up, but they've committed, they've got it. And now that they go to the Rod of Atos, they have the Deafening Blast as well as the Meteor down. The Gorgon's Grasp locks down this Templar Assassin with the help of Overgrowth. Stone Gaze committed, Vision's dead. Kaori on the run, but he'll fall to Watson. 2 kills for the side of Yandex. And a Sunstrike thrown, but that's off the mark on Mira, who's now trying to get away from the Invoker, who starts that Meteor Hammer for a second, stops it. And that's a Lion that can walk away safely.
I think he misclicked. I think he caught a glimpse of him with Road of Atos and then clicked the wrong button. But big fight. Pretty clean execution. Road of Atos hit the Meteor and then Maladich Overgrowth onto 2 heroes. Keeps them in place. Just long enough for Meteor to take the damage. And Templar Assassin, she wanted to join in. Level 15 with Blink Deso. This is pretty much your timing. Plus 3 extra armor reduction coming out from Meld, but unable to do much. They did kill the tower though, so at least that's something. But a big boost to Medusa. She was dead for a long time. In these type of matchups, Templar Assassin doesn't like to die. Big zip.
This is a problem. Gorgon's Grasp, they've got the finger, so they'll just burst and kill off this Invoker. They commit the Stampede. Makoto doesn't have a lot of mana to work with initially, but enough to escape. And the Earth Spike from Mira, but DM working with a haste just doesn't want to commit onto the Lion. They'll get away with this kill on the Invoker inside the triangle of Yandex. Commitments were there, and everything worked out with Makoto joining the fight. He's still sticking ahead of this Invoker, and he's sitting 1-0-2 with the 9 Galvanized stacks. And with him being survivable so far, with not that much catch available to stop this Storm Spirit, he's going into the BKB, and he's going to be even more elusive and even more effective in these fights.
You don't care too much about Demonic Purge as long as you have enough mana. Overgrowth is something that can't stop you. Stone Gaze through the BKB, so they have tools to do so. But Mira is playing with Makoto right now, replenishing his mana constantly.
Just being a mana battery. And why not? Mira's also got the greedy enchantment, so
he's fine. He's fine following him. Very interactive gameplay, but
if I'm getting the gold, I might as well just help out my core that's going to be winning us the game at the moment, right?
Exactly.
TA still kind of farming it up. Is holding on to a tier 2 Dormant Curio, so that's of course looking towards the future. And what do you expect TA to spend that Curio on? Or what do you want to spend the Dormant Curio on?
Carries, I mean, there's Butterfly on the enemy team, so ideally you want to get Serrated Shiv. The problem is you are losing because it's against Medusa. She doesn't have that much HP, so 8% of target's current health as bonus physical damage isn't really a lot, but the miss chance might help him. Either that or you want Gunpowder Gauntlet.
Okay. Well, we'll see in about 5 minutes what the Dormant Curio turns into. Meanwhile, Shard picked up for DM. Centaur's Shard, very strong, especially when you can just survive in these fights, constantly outputting these double edges.
Can get pretty tanky.
Something that'll be good later on. Eventually, if he picks up that Aghanim Scepter, wants that workhorse, he's throwing out these double edges, he can be very tanky. Pick up the Medusa, turning into the moving turret, right? Another one of those games where Yandex, they've got a little bit of a lead, but Aurora are doing a good job around the map, just continuing to farm. What's next on the synopsis for them?
Ideally, they would like to get involved and try to get Roche for Templar Assassin, but right now, fighting into this Medusa, not going to be the easiest thing. Butterfly, Manta Style completed. Very high level. They need to get a pick off. Roshan right now is on the bottom side of the map. Jura Jr. waiting for his Aghanim Scepter. They have Blink Dagger on a Centaur, so ways of going in and starting the fight.
Cataclysm's gonna hit hard. See if they can line it all up.
A lot of big items. Like, they can amplify the damage of this Medusa, it's going to be a scary thing. Solar Crest plus Alacrity onto Medusa. Tidehunter opted to go for a bit of a different build, which I'm kind of glad he did.
Blinding in, Vortex. The Gush with the Ags, but there's the Stampede. You said this team disengages well. They also land that Tornado, that's part of it. Good BKB from Makoto. Stopped himself from getting hit from that hoof stomp.
Good disruption, and Saksa with the Tumbler's Toy.
With this Ravage, but now they go to the Stone Gaze. They're going to try and turn this one around. Overgrowth lands onto the Templar Assassin. That's where they want the attention to be. Chaotic offering, another stop to the team fight that was coming up from the side of Yandex. Tier Junior's in trouble, throws out the Cataclysm, but the damage not quite there with the BKB being popped by V-Tune. They get the kill onto the Evoker. Now they'll look over as maybe they can get the rest. Makoto dealing with about half health, mana as the disruption is onto WS. Tidehunter controlled for the moment. Watson nearby using that Mystic Snake, getting himself a little bit more mana. Gorgon's Grass lands onto 2. Mira, though, jumps in, now trying to drain that mana. Blake, hoof stop, controls up the Lion. They're going to use that Lotus Orb to reflect the Hex that's on Mira. They go to the double to get the kill on him while they end up trading Saksa. DM's in, WS right behind him. Makoto here with the Shadow Orb, but has no mana to play with. Another hoof stop blocks up Tide, but DM hit by this AoE Gush with that Ags, and they will get the kill onto the Centaur War Runner. That completes a 3-man death on Yandex and a victory for Aurora overall.
Cataclysm did not connect. I don't think it hit pretty much anything. Yeah, you can
Based
look at
those numbers, the damage numbers.
1,000 damage only coming out from him. 2 supports on Yandex, they don't deal damage. It's more about like saving people and disengaging, and it was a good disengage. Very good disruption. They figured out the... Look at Saksa now with the Tumbler's Toy immediately after. He doesn't even get clipped. So basically, this Ravage doesn't hit anything, and they still lost the fight. Because Overgrowth, it hits Templar Assassin, and immediately they drop the rock, and then Lion comes from the side. Chura Jr., now he uses it, and they all run away. It clipped WS, I think one of the Sunstrikes just hit him, and that's about it.
So not that much damage being done by that initial Cataclysm. And it's a long, drawn-out fight where they try to chase for the Templar Assassin and just can't get their hands on him either. Makoto doing a lot of work here, too, with a lack of mana, honestly, overall. I think for most of this fight, he's working... Look at him here. He's got a sliver of mana. But he's still doing enough to control these heroes and give the rest of his team that timing to be able to follow up when he starts off.
And he also didn't die.
Yeah.
10 Galvanized stack, it's not like the most. Lion can replenish some of his mana, and I really like to point out some of the builds that I really like. Yasha and Kaya on Storm Spirit, because you're building into Kaya anyway, which he's going to turn into Manta style. You're playing against Medusa, the Gorgon's Grasp. Most importantly, this is against the Overgrowth, so you have a extra way of getting out. And there's also level 20 available on Templar Assassin, so Refraction damage. He didn't go for the Refraction dispels. Maybe that would be another way of him getting out of the Overgrowth. But for now, it seems like he wants to have that explosive damage.
Yeah, trying to get the red damage item of Daedalus. And with that fight, they even it up on the net worth, but this game has been relatively even the entire time. 3K is not that much of a lead in which we're really favoring one side or the other too much, especially with 2 carries that kind of farm similarly, but not the same items. They're trying to get to similar points in the game, right?
Yeah. Watson was also, Watson's buying very expensive items. He is building into Scotty, which is a 6K item. And Templar Assassin, she's buying into smaller items. Even having Dragonlance, then having Hurricane Pike means a lot to her in a fight in her damage output. Scotty about to be completed. Very good item against these range heroes in general, especially in carry-to-carry matchup, and they have 4 range heroes.
Blink Dagger next on the docket here for Treant Protector. We talked about having that deeper Overgrowth to get that control, to line up the Cataclysm.
Yeah, I thought he might skip his Shard and go for Blink Dagger.
Have it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. It's a good way, like you start with the Centaur, you have Medusa parked in front, then you land 2-3-man Overgrowth with Cataclysm. It's a very good setup, but once he gets a Blink Dagger, they will have multiple BKBs. There's a Yule Scepter on Tidehunter, so all 3 cores have 1 ways of dispelling the Overgrowth.
Kind of giving me this feeling that you might think the Blink Dagger is a little bit too late to have as much effectiveness.
The Blink Dagger is always going to be good. It's just that I would like to have maybe a priority shifted. It would be ideal if he was the one that got
the shard
from the Tormentor.
Right.
That's and then you have the gold to buy the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, sometimes not getting the luck factor. But at this time, we'll see the Blink. We'll see what he can do with it once they get to that point. And if the items that they've picked up with these BKBs are too much, it's potentially going to sting. Tidehunter, he, you know, like you said, has that Yules, and with the 2 BKBs, what do you do afterwards? What do you do if the Overgrowth? Are you waiting on the Overgrowth BKBs and hoping that you? Yeah.
He might need to, because they have other ways of disengaging the fight, popping the BKBs, maybe using Road of Atos, Centaur stun, Saksa with the ulti, try to bait some of these BKBs.
And then jump in.
Yeah. Also Medusa, she chose Unrelenting Eye as her neutral item, so increased slow resistance by 65. This has been upgraded by Unleash by Dormant Curio. She could have played Undulation, the other facet, if she didn't want to get slowed. That's the offlane facet back a couple of months ago, where it was super popular with the Radiance build. Maybe that was a year ago. Watson, time goes by quickly. WS.
Jump in, Hope Stomp. Just trying to drain some mana off screen, but they've got Storm going in on a Maladich who's behind them.
Gem.
Vitune gets the kill onto the Treant. They have Gem on both sides. Centaur trying to be the tanky one to hold the vision. Meanwhile, Storm's trying to be the mobile one to get the vision. They'll take out that trap, and now they've got the Alacrity onto Watson, who start with the Stone Gaze, but the Earth Spike lands right as he uses that. So Watson now from a distance, Cataclysm is going to fly down and land onto WS. They get the Coda KRE too. Roche is low, Makoto's in. He doesn't have a lot of mana to play with. Tornado, it comes through and lands onto the Templar Assassin. Gorgon's Grass, not going to matter. Blinks away, able to escape. V2 now thinking about going back in, but the Blink Hope Stop BKB. V2 gets it.
Nice
for the
play
damage
from
on
Watson.
Saksa. They get the Snatch on the Aegis for Watson. They get the kill on Amira. BKB runs out on V-Tune, and he's able to escape, but 3 heroes dead at the side of Aurora, and they still get this Aegis on Watson.
Nice try from Mira. He blinks in. I believe he's the one that actually gets the last hit in a Roche, and Manta-style dodge from Watson. Picks up the Aegis. You can see the power of Medusa. She can just stand there, rest of the team amping her up. Alacrity, Solar Crest coming out, and this is going to be another big damage output. I thought he might pick it up as his third item, but opted to go for Scotty, which I think overall is a better choice. It's just that this Silver Edge is such a good item in the current meta, capping your move speed and applying the break mechanic, which is going to be pretty massive against the Tidehunter.
Getting this Aegis, giving themselves maybe 4 minutes of reprieve to build up some of that net worth lead again. You can see when those Cataclysms do land, they do hurt. They were able to wipe out WS pretty quickly, and he's supposed to be the tanky one. Unfortunately, not in a case like that. Another Torm, the 30-minute Torm to be taken. Yndx getting that shard for Saksa. That means he's got it, Centaur's got theirs, Maladich has his. And now the next shard could potentially be for the Medusa or the Invoker.
Oof, Medusa would definitely love to get the shard for free. Cold-blooded. Shooting a snake. Pretty massive one. And speaking of massive, Silver Edge about to be finished. Next fight is going to be very difficult for them to take the fight. DM
finds Kaori. Stampede committed on top, and Watson's just gonna have the damage to get the kill. They go to this Tidehunter Ravage. We're gonna land the Sunstrike. WS still run down anyway. Stone Gaze used Disruption. That lands on a Makoto. He's got a good amount of mana to work with. The Gordon's Grass is gonna be there, but the BKB from Makoto, and now Mira's the one in trouble. Ball lightning back towards him. Doesn't get up onto the high ground without the mana now. He's in trouble. Makoto needs to be very careful. Looking for the high five, but how far can he get? They've got Saksa here with the Blood Grenade. He's trying to run all the way to Tier 2 tower, but they need someone with him. There's the Blink, the Hope Stop, the kill, and a Makoto. They do not get him, and the Courier that was right there to try and collect the gem ends up dying, so they'll pick it up on Saksa. He did not get up onto the high ground, could not escape from these heroes on Yandex, and they will finish off this Storm.
And they will finish off the barracks as well. Storm Spirit has no buyback for 50 seconds. This is Medusa lineup for you. One really bad fight. She's holding onto the Aegis. All these buffs that they're throwing on her. There's the Alacrity, Solar Crest in a couple of seconds.
DM so willing to go in. He's got this Lotus Orb as protection as well. Blink off to the side, V-Tune. He's got to try and fight back a little bit, but he doesn't have the Storm up for 30 more seconds. Mana's getting a little bit low. The Lion trying to drain the Snake and get this mana all the way out of the hands of Watson, and they'll get this Aegis. So can they do it again?
Buyback from Mira.
On Mira. Saksa got the kill there. They're going to try and go to the mana drain once more. They land the air spike. They've got the Lotus, but it's not going to matter. And now the damage is pretty heavy on a Watson, where he's down at under half mana. They get him the first time, stood up on the high ground with that Aegis. Doesn't pay the second life toll, but now Aegis getting used pretty early on into having it.
And now they have a lot of protection. Jira Jr. with the BKB. Centaur does have a BKB in his quick buy. I mean, I'm looking at what Maladich has in his inventory. It's about buffing the Medusa. Halfway there. Greedy, 100 GPM that he's getting. I feel like he's always blessed by the Greedy enchantment.
3 of the 4 supports had Greedy. That was, I mean, support heaven.
I think the other option that he can go for is the Holy Locket to be able to give some mana to Medusa.
Radabatos and the Meteor with the Sunstrike. Jira Jr. easily killing off Kaori.
You lose the benefit with Holy Locket of giving away HP to Medusa, but still mana is what you want to have. And Watson's going to have another item relatively quickly. He bought his own shard. That's how much he prioritizes it. Just to make sure that he will have mana every single time Lion wants to use a spell on him.
Watson, now with the shard, he's cold-blooded, trying to show that he's got ice in his veins in a game like this. But Maladich, he's got the vision on WS. He's got these Eyes of the Forest down, so they know where Tide is at. They're bringing a bunch of heroes down here to try and go after WS, and that's going to be Saksa moving in. And they have that ult, they'll land the Sunstrike. He's dead on the Sunstrike to get another kill. These Eyes of the Forest, a bit of a problem. That's why they had that gem on Aurora originally. But now, forced to kind of have to deal with all these eyes on their end, and they have to be very careful about where they're moving around. Just busted up into a 13,000 net worth lead. Watson just gonna grab a tower down bot. Not really much you can answer with. Not at the moment.
Not really. You can't kill this Medusa. They are the ones controlling the map. Roshan may respawn in 2 minutes. A lot of gold. You said both of the supports have a Greedy enchantment, so the items are starting to pile up.
Mira in trouble. The supports are in the TP attempt, but they've got the disruption, of course. Tornado lands on a Makoto. Now the Meteors are down with the BKB pop, though. Overgrowth committed after the BKB. They won't get the Cataclysm as he's able to escape. And that is that Manta style coming in clutch for the Storm Spirit. But the Gorgon's grasp, Kaori caught again. Vici even thinking about coming in.
I like what DM is doing. He dominated the Alpha Wolf creep and is following Medusa, giving her extra damage.
Domesticating wolves, this is how it started hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago.
Let's see. He's not going to follow. Too far away. Alpha Wolf will stay in this bottom lane.
Found WS again, and this gush not gonna matter. Yule's up into the air of the Gorgon's grass laying down. He's tanky, but how tanky is he? Ball Lightning looking now at the Medusa. Gets out of the low ground. The Meteor's gonna be touching him a little bit there with the Gleipnir connecting. And Watson, again, just another kill. Godlike at the moment, 9-0-6, yet to die.
Yeah, 8 Blink Daggers in the quick buy, still far away from buying a 1. And now off to the high ground they go. 2 catapults, another Alacrity, another Solar Crest.
You can see on the player cam, Watson just absolutely locked in. Not looking to give this one up. Not this time.
And also Shadow Demon. He can create the illusions out of it. Mira explodes. No buyback for him for 3.5 minutes.
TA finally has the MKB, but that's one set of racks up top. Mid set of racks is next, and then they could go bottom to try and get the Mega Creeps.
Medusa
glyphed.
Has 500 damage with Alpha Wolf and Alacrity, plus the extra attack speed coming up from Solar Crest. And this game, they have one more fight. They lose the fight, they can drop the Gs.
So Snoopy around Watson, just trying to, and he'll take care of the Alpha Wolf with the Ball Lightning, knowing that they needed to get rid of that. He's almost level 25 on this Medusa too, so that's gonna be a big burst of influx of intelligence potentially. But now VTune standing with the BKB, tries to go after these heroes, but the Illusion's doing so much damage. VTune has to watch out. Sunstrike, oh, VTune low, but he's got the Shadow Word, and there's no follow-up coming in from Yandex just yet. Oh, that was close. Very dangerous.
They got what they came for. Didn't manage to kill off melee barracks, but with the next one, MKB finally completed on VTune, but as you see, he can't really deal the damage. And also Watson has another almost 7,000 gold in the bank. He can buy the full disperser, and that's going to be even more annoying for Storm. Yeah, one way to disengage for himself. Multiple ways that they can buff up this Medusa, create the illusions with the Shadow Demon.
It was Daedalus instead of the disperser.
Okay, just raw damage.
Still yet to pick his 25 talent. Okay, never mind. Just picks up the intelligence, of course. Brain's so big, so intelligent. What will he pick for his next neutral? It'll be the Giant's Maul with the Quickened, giving that evasion, that mana, and that movement speed. Gotta love that Treant Protector is still holding on to the Greedy, and now so is Shadow Demon. They both have their Greedy from Tier 3. And you can see the difference in the net worth. Obviously, that's because they're leading the game by so much as well, but a lot of that too with the Greedy. These supports are so farmed on Yandex. Blink, Solar Crest, Shadow Demon looking for positioning. So is Treant Protector. He's got a Lotus, and so does the Centaur. So there's a lot to protect the team. And look at this. Kaori just dead immediately. V2 might follow him. BKB, but what is it worth? Nothing. Dead for 100. No Templar Assassin.
And I believe that's game. They have no Templar Assassin. They can just take the Mega Creeps and finish the game. And it didn't even feel like it's the enemy carry. Morlock's gonna buy back. They don't see what we see, that he doesn't have buyback available, but they will try to maybe get it out of the system. For now, it is gonna be Megas that they're gonna be looking for.
And the finger, Malinage low, but still alive, survives the nuke that came in from the side of Aurora. They get the kill on Amira, and they'll call GG, take down the banner. Yandex, they just took the series 2-1.
Very clean. Game number 1, extremely clean execution. This third one as well, not making any mistakes. And the power of Medusa lineup shows. Carry-to-carry matchup, not in TA's favor.